Welcome everyone to the 84th edition of the Home Theater Hub. You got myself, Don from Horizon Home Theater, Ike, Easy HC Tech, Paul, Brews and Views in the house, and Mr. Rob from NextLevel Acoustics. And Chuck, we are on time just for you today, brother. So you can stay up for the entire show.
Chuck is
he'll be awake for half the show. Let's face it, he falls asleep.
We got yelled at by Chuck last week, or not yelled at, but he said we should say the show starts at 9:30 ish. So,
and it did.
It did. So, what's going on, guys? How was your week? How was your 4th of July?
As it should be, not too,
not too explosive.
Not too explosive. Yes, exactly. I went out to Jessica's cousins. I'm horrible with the thing. They have a farm, so we went out there and watched them light fireworks, and I stayed back, because I don't mind lighting fireworks, but I don't have to. It's one of those things. It's watching the kids light fireworks. It's more exciting watching them like run around,
right.
like But at the same time, that comes with one of them might get a stinger in the hand.
Might fall towards the fireworks while they're lit.
So, but it's still fun watching, just that whole aspect. Like, oh yeah, I remember whenever I was that.
Do they still give sparklers out? They're like some of the most dangerous things that.
Dude, they had a sparkler that formed a hand. Like, no, you thought a sparkler was dangerous. No, they had one that the whole thing was a hand, like a glowing hand.
Yeah. So for like the next 5 minutes, if you accidentally sit on that thing or touch it or whatever.
Yeah, you can get a lot of burns.
Absolutely.
That, yeah.
What about you, Ike? What'd you do for 4th of July? Anything special?
Yeah, we went fireworks show. We went over to a friend's place, and we normally go there the last couple of years, but in the last 2 years, his neighbors have stepped up the fireworks show that there was no point for him even having to do one anymore.
There you go.
Save money, and the neighbors just made it work for everybody. So it's like, yeah, it was really great. I took a bunch of videos and all of that, and we had a great time.
That's
Kids
awesome.
had fun.
We had the opposite. Usually I have a couple of my neighbors, like one in particular, they usually spend like 30 grand. Like I live pretty close to a golf course, and they usually do a show. And this neighborhood, their show is usually 10 times better. That didn't happen this year. Usually I don't even have to, like, I have a pretty tall oak tree, and usually I can see theirs over that tree without even... No, don't get me wrong. They still did a lot of fireworks, but generally they have like full, like it's like after the winning game for like an hour and a half. This year they didn't do that, which I was
finale.
I was surprised. I was like, huh.
Those things are expensive, man.
Oh yeah, they are.
They're not cheap. So.
And I'm like, man, once you get up to that type of fireworks display, it's like you could have bought someone a car. It's like,
well, I don't know if they're that expensive, but
no, how about you? Can be if you want to have a really good show.
Yeah, no, hours. I'm not even joking, man. These people would spend like 30. Now this was a big, like I said, they didn't do it this year, which I was surprised. It's Chicago Pier level, fireworks, and this was in a neighborhood. I don't know if they just got tired of cleaning up afterwards or what.
But, how about you, Rob? Did you do anything for 4th?
Yeah, we didn't do too much, honestly. No cookouts or anything like that. We did go see the new Jurassic Park, so
nice.
That was fun. But other than that, we just hung out with our dogs, and because my daughter's at camp, so it's just the wife and the dogs.
Oh, Okay. Very
Nice.
good. Very good. We can talk
How-
about
how
that.
was-
That
how was
music.
the movie?
Well, calm down. Let me talk about my
Ow.
4th of July first.
Dude, I'm skipping you. You skip me all the time.
Relationship.
I want to know how
problems.
this movie was. I've heard good things about it. The Jurassic Park, the new Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was pretty good. I mean, it's it's a popcorn flick.
All
That's
right,
what I
all right.
heard, too.
Okay. All right. I can
That's what I
appreciate
heard,
that.
So yeah, we actually went to my brother-in-law's house for 4th of July, and then we came back to the house at like 7:00. So before any festivities or anything in his neighborhood, but in my neighborhood, just like you talked about, Paul, people tend to spend money on fireworks. So we had some professional grade fireworks going off too for quite some time. So we got a pretty good show on that. People go to. I used to live in Tallahassee, which was about an hour from Alabama, and pretty much everything is legal there. I mean, you can shoot off anything.
Mhm.
So let's just say that there has been some fireworks brought across the border several times, but yeah, no, you buy the big finale cakes and stuff like that, and that's what these people had. I mean, super high end stuff that's shot and spread out like 200 feet, in the air. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to the neighbors doing like ones that would go like 200-300 feet in the air. And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I could still see some of them, but they were only like, like 70, 80 feet, which that's more than I've ever purchased.
Yeah, those are the big ball. They're a ball like this, and
Yeah,
they just drop into a
exactly.
tube.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, huh, that's interesting. I'm having to look around the tree. I've never had to do that before. What's happening? What are they doing?
Yeah, so I still have all my fingers, so I didn't light off. Hopefully, all you guys in the chat had a great 4th of July also.
Yeah.
So so what about movies? Were you able to watch anything in the theater, Ike?
No.
Do anything?
No, did not. Had a very, very busy week, and I spent most of my time working on the other room, and it's almost good to go. I just need an AVR now. That's the only thing that I'm waiting. Ran all the cables, got the couch in there, got the cabinets. I have an amplifier in there, and the TV is ready. I just need to try to find something, and it's Prime Day. Oh, Prime Day is
Prime,
going
couple
on.
days, yeah.
Couple of days. I think it's supposed to end
That
tomorrow.
Onkyo would be a nice thing to play around with. I think
Which
that's
of
on
them, the
sale.
30 or the 50?
I think the 50's on sale right now.
Oh.
I haven't looked. I'm trying to stay away from Prime Day. I need to. The only thing I'm going to buy for Prime Day, if I buy for Prime Day, is going to be WLED, stuff.
Yeah.
Diffuser channels for the lighting.
So yeah, you might want to get those.
Yeah.
But I think it ends tomorrow. So
yeah, I've got my eye on a couple things. I subscribe to one of these guys' channels. I forgot. I think his name's Chris something. I'll have to figure it out. But he all he does is lighting, reviews lighting, and so
wow.
So yeah,
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's I enjoy watching his show. So
didn't even know there was that much lighting out there. He probably gets into the programming and using Arduino.
So he's done the Govee outdoor lights. He's done all that stuff, curtains,
using all the APIs and stuff with the that
shows you how to do the WLED stuff and everything else. So yeah, it's cool. A good channel. I'll have to tell you about it. But yeah, so that's my wife keeps trying to find stuff to buy. Today she needed an ice maker, a cappuccino machine, and like three or four other things that we don't need, but she needed
cappuccino machine. You definitely need.
I do like a good cappuccino.
You can just throw in
your
a
wife
few
on my channel to talk about the brews, man. That's what I'm talking about.
You can just throw in a few home theater stuff while you're placing those orders.
Don't let her talk to me. You'll be getting $1,000 grinder.
No, we won't be getting a
coffee and
I'd be like, no. You need this. You need that.
Yeah, no, she pulled the trigger on a couple things, so I've been trying to stay away from it.
but Yes, I was thinking, we can maybe when later we can check out some Prime Day deals that are going on,
Oh, okay.
see what anyone is looking for. What do you guys in the chat? What are you looking for? What did you buy for Prime Day?
I know that
TVs?
the
There's
Bravia
been
5,
crazy deals for TVs, man.
the Bravia 5 had a good deal for like a
Yeah.
85 or something like that. I
There
did
was
see
some
that.
98-inch like QLEDs for like less than $3,000 or something like that. I mean, yeah, there were some really good deals. My problem is, if I ever buy a TV, it has to be OLED. I've seen. I'm sorry, it's just one of those things.
I agree with you.
It's like, damn it! It's
100%.
one of those things where it's like,
I don't
hey,
know. I
Then
can
that
tell you.
gray just gets
they're
to
good.
you. Right?
They're amazing. But when you're watching a movie at midnight, no ambient light, man, you can tell the difference. You man, there's just I don't need the brightness. I'm not a brightness. Like I don't need, 1,000 lumens or any of that. I'm not.
You're looking for a good
As long as I can see it,
subwoofer for 500? Oh.
But
Yeah, there's some really good deals out there, so we can check them out. Crutchfield, Best
Oh,
Buy.
yeah.
This is that guy's channel, Paul.
Oh yeah, I know
Yeah.
that. I know Chris Meyer. Yep.
Yeah, he does a lot of tons and tons of videos. But yeah, he set up a whole like the Govee curtain like I have behind me. He's got that on his deck. He's got all kind of stuff like. So yeah, check him out.
Oh, TCL has
Sorry,
the
I was just
98
pulling
So-
up
for
the
$2
chat.
grand.
So what about you, Paul? Any movies? Were you able to take in any movies?
I have not. I've watched 2 anime series. They're both on Netflix. Lazarus, which I liked. The art looked totally like Cowboy Bebop. Like one of the characters looked just like Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. Even the moves and motions. So, I like that. It was pretty good. It was, a 12 episode series. So I like that. And then I also watched another anime called Samurai. I'm going to butcher this because I am horrible at dialect. Samurai Kamui. And that one was, it was cool, but it wasn't I wouldn't say, oh yeah, you got to watch that one type of deal. If you run out of things to watch, it wasn't like horrible, but it just wasn't one that I would necessarily say, oh, you got to see it,
Okay.
like that type of deal. Like you said, like some things are just popcorn. It's like, oh yeah, I'm
Right,
just
right.
sitting there and doing some stuff, But it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't my personal, like, it's like, okay, yeah, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Or it wasn't even necessarily that. It was just like, okay, nothing really new is happening. But it was, I could see why some people would really like it because it was kind of futuristic and it dealt with samurais and ninjas specifically, and how it's like kind of a lost art, and then there's this big corporation and they have these like mech ninja suits, and that's all I'll say.
Okay.
So it
Sounds interesting.
It is, yeah. It's interesting, but it's just like, if you've ever seen Batman Ninja,
Okay.
I fucking hated that.
I've
I
never
was
seen
like,
it.
oh my god,
never
this
seen
is
that.
so
Never seen it. I guess I won't.
it wasn't
see
anything like that, but there's just some things that I'm just like, wait a minute, like what the hell is going on? We went from suspend your reality to rose petals and crap popping out of stuff. You're like, what the hell? And now there's a Batman Ninja 2, and I'm gonna have to watch that just to see if it's as bad as
See
the
if it's as
first.
bad. See if it's as Sharknado as the other one.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, man, Sharknado, yeah.
It was, yeah.
So I actually know Ian Ziering personally, who's in Sharknado from
Oh, really?
90210. And like, everyone, I've always wanted to ask him and say, bro, 90210, I get it. Awesome. But really, Sharknado? Like,
It's a paycheck,
really?
bro. It's a paycheck.
Totally.
Like,
It's
who
a
are you
total
owing?
paycheck.
Were you owing somebody? Like,
It's
Yeah,
a
right.
paycheck.
Did you lose a bet?
did you lose a bet?
Seriously,
Mafia
I'm
or
like,
something?
I mean, come on.
Some of the Howard Stern characters were in there too. So
Yeah.
I think
But
Benji
isn't
was in there.
Sharknado like such a level that it's like B rate? It's like a B movie where you could have fun just
B or
watching
C?
it and laughing at
Totally.
it.
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Well, that's
then-
different.
but
No,
they have, like,
Batman
multiple.
Ninja was trying to be serious about it. And it's just like, wait, what?
So Wade says, "Can we start over?" Wade, we will start over because in the beginning of the
interrupted.
movie, Rob said that he saw the new Jurassic Park. So we'll let him elaborate a little bit on that.
I did. So Scarlett Johansson, oh Jesus Christ, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But
Was the outfit
okay.
tight enough?
Oh,
You know what?
man.
It was fine. It was fine. All right. So
it wasn't Waterworld, I can tell you that.
No, it wasn't Waterworld. All right. So my wife
Well,
and I
damn
saw it in the Lux level of like showcase cinemas. I would say audio wise, I would give it like an 8.5.
Okay.
Mm.
Video wise, I'd probably give it an 8.5. So
Oh, okay.
it was fun. It was fun, but it's not like the first one. I mean,
Right.
Well, that's what I heard. It's kind of like
fine.
the first one. It's like an intro, so it's not quite okay. That's what
yeah,
I
this
was
is like many years afterwards, and it
Okay.
was. I mean, it was definitely entertaining, but it's not, because anytime I go to the movies, especially now, I'm not just going. I mean, obviously, I'm going to enjoy it, but I'm always looking at, all right, what demo scenes can I pull out of here, right, so that we can demo our speakers, whether they're at trade shows or in our theaters and so on and so forth. And I have to see how it kind of translates to Kaleidoscape, but like nothing jumped out at me to say, oh, I can't wait for that scene to like, so that I can demo that. But I mean, overall, I mean, it was definitely fun.
Okay, well, that's
Awesome.
cool. So it's
Anything-
worth a watch if you're a Jurassic Park.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you're a Jurassic Park fan, absolutely. It's definitely worth checking out.
That's
We all know that's not why we're gonna watch it.
It's
but-
like Fast and the Furious 25.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
it's like is it?
You kind of know what you're getting.
You know what
right?
you're getting
Exactly.
into. Okay, yeah. That's fair. There wasn't anything like,
No,
yeah.
there wasn't any like major plot twist. I'm like, oh wow, they just set up like 10 more movies. It's
Hmm.
Anything else in your personal theater?
So interesting enough, I've over the last 2 weeks, I've watched like 50 movies.
Oh wow.
But wait, but let me preface that. I've watched demo scenes from 50 movies because right now we're curating a list for
I was like,
the
wait,
sound room at Cedia.
like, wait a minute, that doesn't add
Yeah,
up.
so we're
50
like going
movies?
through
Like,
like every
did you
scene, every
eat?
possible scene. Yeah, and just so that's what I've been
I'm
doing.
gonna have to
over
get
the last
that list once you're done, so that I can
Yeah,
just put it right on my
yeah.
Kaleidoscape.
Exactly. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I'm definitely waiting for the new Mission Impossible to drop on I think it's on
Yes.
August 15th. So we're probably going to pull a scene from there, but it's just figuring out the right balance and kind of bouncing between movies and different songs from different movies to show more of a musical aspect as well. So
I'm just happy we finally get an updated Mission Impossible demo track, because man, we have one out there.
which one? What's your go-to Mission Impossible track?
It's always the plane going through the valley going forward. That's usually what I'm tired of listening to that one. So
I'm tired of listening to that. I'm tired of listening to Ready Player One and
Oh,
the
yeah.
opening race.
Yeah.
I'm tired of listening to the mission from Top Gun Maverick. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's the same, right? I'm like ready to move on from like
Are
some of those demos.
are you tired of the Greatest Showman intro?
I'm tired of the Greatest Showman
Yeah.
intro. I do like the song "This Is Me."
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say it's a little more tolerable when you.
It's a little more
have these-
tolerable.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I-
that's where that came from. I was
I
like,
do like "Shallow" from
sometimes
"A Star
they
Is
last a
Born,"
little
Yeah, when they're
longer.
singing,
You're
it's,
so like
it's
that.
It's
But
like,
some of
all
the
right.
scenes, I'm like, oh god, another demo of XYZ. So
Yep.
Yep.
So for me, as usual, I gotta have a kids movie, right?
of course,
So for me, with watching with my son, gotta watch some PG movies. So last week we watched Lilo and Stitch.
Stage 2.
Nice.
So this week we've been streaming on. I've been watching a lot of streaming lately, believe it or not. And I can tell you what, man, the on Disney, they've got the sound on some of these doing really well through streaming. So I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I don't even have my rears hooked up, and I was getting total panning through the front, all through the front wides and through the side surrounds, all the way across the whole room. I was thoroughly impressed with the Lilo and Stitch. I was thoroughly impressed with the Atmos and in some of the SpongeBob movies that I watched last week. So I mean, I'm just enjoying the theater, and I'm actually enjoying it so much that it's inhibiting me from actually doing the work that I need to do in there. Because instead of doing the work, I'll just go sit down and watch a movie instead, right? So most of my movie watching has been I'll go upstairs, lay in the bed, and I'm like, it's 11 o'clock and I can't sleep. Let me go ahead downstairs and watch a movie. So and I'll watch it. So I actually watched a new movie this September 5. Not sure if you guys heard about this one or not, but it's about the Olympics when the Israeli Olympians were taken hostage
yeah,
Yeah.
back in 1971, and it was kind of like warfare, right? So it was all done from a news perspective. So it was a very, very good. I enjoyed the movie. I mean, for sound and stuff like that, it wasn't great. You know, there were some gunshots and stuff that you heard in the background, but it wasn't great. But as far as a story wise, and as far as being well directed and the actors were great. I mean, look, it's got 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
Wow.
just I would highly suggest watching this. It was a really, really good movie.
Is
So-
that on Prime or you got?
No, that was on that was on Kaleidoscape that I watched that one. I
Okay.
actually
We
bought
need to
that
get
one.
some of these sound people because I'm curious because there are a lot of like SpongeBob, right? It's like
Right.
that's not people aren't going there for the blockbuster. You know, you're not comparing SpongeBob the movie to Marvel.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, is that because some engineer like myself in audio? I'm not an audio engineer, but you know, an audio engineer is like, oh, I gotta make my mark. I gotta make people remember me. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
are they going above and beyond because it's like, oh, hey, here's my work, here's my work, here's my work, you know? and
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why some of those, you know, now obviously Disney, you know, they probably have a pretty high standard for engineers and employees and stuff like that. But I would be curious on, you know, because, you know, you have some blockbuster movies either because of time or budget or whatever. It's like, man, how can, you know, a movie like SpongeBob be better than, you know, the latest, you know, John Wick 4 ballerina?
Yeah, ballerina.
Like, wait, what?
I heard
Like,
that was good, so I
I'm
don't
not
know
saying
that that's going to be the
I'm not
truth.
saying that that's the case, but I'm just, you know, making a hypothetical in that situation because I haven't
Yeah.
watched that, so I have no idea. But it would be like, oh, it's like, it's like curious. It would be cool to just talk to some of the, you know,
Sound engineers.
sound
Yeah,
engineers
absolutely.
that actually are doing that. So all right, that'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
so I watched that, which I highly recommend if you're into like real life events and stuff like that. I enjoyed it.
Key lime.
Key Lime Supreme. Let me key in on that. Keep that up there.
That
go.
is-
Who makes that?
Surly
Surly.
Brewing Company.
Surly Brewing Company. Key
Nice.
Lime Supreme. Thank you for sharing that because we did just skip right over that.
Yeah, well, hey, we were having a good time. I skipped over your movies. Or I was like, you skip me all the time. Let's go.
So let me go back here. I got one more movie that I watched,
Cheers.
and it's a classic,
Uh-oh.
and I hadn't seen it for quite some time.
I gotta hear.
And
His
I
definition
believe
of a
it's I believe it's the head actors, one of their top performances.
Hmm.
One of their top performances. I went back and watched Training Day.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You
Yeah,
really
so-
love this
I
movie.
don't know if I
huh?
would call that a classic.
It's a good movie,
It's a
man.
It
good
is a good
movie.
movie, but I don't know that I would classify that as. And
Well,
yes,
it's 2001, right? So
his
it's-
performance in that is amazing. Now, if that's all you said, I 100% agree. Yeah, that is a really good movie. I don't know if I would call it a classic, but it is a really good movie.
Yeah, maybe
Give it a
it's
few
not
more
classic,
years, it will
but
become one.
It's a great movie. I hadn't seen
Yeah,
it.
it is a really good movie. It is-
Eva Mendes, Naked, yes.
yeah.
But yeah, it's
When you say classic, I'm thinking, okay, Shawshank Redemption.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with you.
there's one of your top classics, right?
Maybe not the best choice of words there, but
that's what I'm saying. It was just a matter of wording. And
I'll back
when
it
you
down
said
from a classic.
I'm like,
so
okay.
so
what is it?
Wade says anything 2001 is a classic. So okay, there we go. Thank you, Wade. Thank you for the
Yeah,
support.
if you go by age, then shoot, everything I watch is a classic.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I watched this on streaming.
Mhm.
I was still getting great sound effects out of it. It was a rewatch. So the
I bought a
Lumagen.
new copy, Rich. Look.
Oh
There
my
you go.
Not even
God!
open.
Oh,
Look.
nice.
You could
See?
not have
Another one.
That's a classic.
Look,
made the joke
still
before you
sealed,
showed
not even
the
open.
friggin' thing.
Sitting on my
oh
desk.
My God.
That's for you. I keep
You
buying
got
new
Rich
copies,
over there
man.
laughing.
You're like DJ from Brightside
Oh,
buying
man.
Bloodshot or whatever it is.
That's
I have
hilarious.
like almost 15 of this. I just bought this just sit on my desk.
hey,
Rich was literally just saying,
Ike,
I bet you watched
let me
this out
let me
of
tell you, there's something called ripping that you can back up a copy of that, so you don't have to worry about scratching it.
Yeah, it's not about scratching it. It's
sometimes you just
it's
want
just
like the new
I want
art.
another one.
Yeah,
I'm
the new
keeping it
art.
alive.
Yeah.
I hear you.
No,
I hear you. So, you guys like Training Day? Sound off in the chat if you like Training Day.
I like Training Day. I like Training Day.
I
love Training Day.
enjoyed it. I think
I
it's
wouldn't call it a classic. I wouldn't be like, hey, you got to watch this because it's, changes your.
It's a classic. You need to watch it.
That's a classic, but I'm never watching it. I never watched it, and I never
You've
will.
not seen that?
No.
Man, there's a part of your childhood that's
Oh,
missing.
come
man.
on. You got to at least watch
You were
it once.
traumatized, man. You need to.
I hate musicals. I cannot watch.
There is a lot of meaning in that movie.
You were
I'm
missing
sure there
50%
is.
of
Done,
your
done.
childhood.
All right. So, Sound of Music, you haven't watched.
I've
Tell
never watched
me
Sound
you
of Music.
watched Mary Poppins.
I've watched Mary Poppins.
The
Okay.
King and I.
Okay.
Please
All right.
tell me
Okay.
something.
What about Bed Knobs and Broomsticks?
Oh, yes.
Look at this. Benny says it's a classic. There we go. I'm
Exactly.
diverting here.
All right, hey, I stand corrected. One more beer, and yes, I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
It's
So
like, it's a
no,
classic.
I'm not a big musical guy. I mean, to be honest with you, so it's I really start my movie love, I would say late 70s, early 80s movies is when I really started getting into movies a whole lot, and honestly, I think the 80s and early 90s are some of the best movies ever made out, so just for story wise, because everything that's out now is just a copy of basically what
A
that
lot
was.
of them,
Yeah. That era was, So
No, you got to watch Sound of Music. At least let your son watch it once. It's
Okay,
more than
well-
just a musical.
we'll bet on something, and then if I lose, I'll watch it.
You're already losing because you haven't
I
watched
bet
it.
you don't get your theater finished. That's like I'm not even gonna bet because I know I'll win that bet. You'll never be finished.
No, I'll check it out. But you know, it will be totally against my will. no, 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 I will check it out. So just because it's Ike's favorite movie, but I've never watched that. So
man, I'm gonna have to watch it again now.
You're gonna watch it just for Ike.
And they have the 4K coming out later in the fall. So
okay. I'll wait for that. I'll wait for that.
That's when I'll watch it.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Buys you some time.
Yeah, once the 4K comes out.
You know what? I say we once a month, not once a week. I say, or maybe once a quarter. Just throw this idea out. We all get a movie, either a classic release or a new release, and we all have to watch it and then give our perception.
I've been thinking of doing that, except no horrors, because I ain't gonna watch no horrors.
Because we're all so different, and what's everybody's different, right? Like some people might I loved it, blah 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 blah, and that's
just know if you guys make me watch any horror, I'm gonna rate it 0 out of whatever the scale is.
Yeah,
audio, visual, everything is gonna be
we
0.
have to all
I'm not
agree
gonna watch it.
on watching the movie.
I think I saw that Nightmare on Elm Street's coming out with a 4K edition.
I might watch Nightmare on Elm Street though.
That's not scary. The guy just walks out.
It's just I'll drink a few Guinness
for
and
you
watch
in
it.
your dreams while you're sleeping. There's nothing there. You're not gonna have nightmares about sleeping whenever that happens, right? No, that is some of the scariest stuff I've ever watched when I was a kid. Nightmare on Elm Street, like Friday the 13th, Halloween.
I know what you did last summer. That was even scary for me.
There was some jump scares in that.
Jump scares is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's different. That's just shoot. There was jump scares in Quiet Place that got me better than some of the worst.
Look, you talked about demo scenes. I mean, The Quiet Place 2 in the very beginning, right? When whatever happens, because I'm not going to spoil it for people that haven't seen it, but whatever happens in Quiet Place 2, right in the first couple minutes, I was watching that. Speaking of the Florida Audio Expo, I was actually at the Florida Audio Expo, and Kellen got me from Dream Media. They turned that thing on, and I had already seen the movie, but I forgot about it. But boom, he was laughing at me because I jumped my ass off. I was standing in the back of the room.
Yeah, you're like, man.
So yeah, if Rob, if you're not sure about that one, I would definitely add that because it's the intro of Quiet Place 2 has a lot of bass, a lot of activity going on. So that would be a good one to add to your demo scenes for Cedia. That's
good. So let's talk about Next Level Acoustics.
All right. Yeah.
So Rob, tell us about yourself. Well, before we do that, let's just say hi to the chat because we hadn't said hi to the chat real quick.
Yeah.
So C-Big, thank you for joining. And yes, we were on time. Van Gool, thank you. Appreciate it. Benny, welcome back as usual. So Van Gool says that he did something this week. He helped his parents upgrade to a new TV, the QM7. That's a nice TV. I actually went to Best Buy the other day and saw that TV there. Man, it was nice. I tell you, for a mini LED, that thing is really, really nice. And then we got Musin, we got your question started there, so we'll get to that. What's up? What's up, Jamie? How are you, sir? How are you?
Jamie, welcome.
Jeff in the house. What's going on, Jeff?
Hi-Fi Finest.
Hi-Fi Finest. We got your question starred. We'll definitely talk about that. Van Gool said he's looking for a subwoofer, and I responded with the
SW15s.
That's always a great subwoofer for around the price that you're looking. So if you can push $50 more out of your budget, everybody in here will probably highly recommend that one for that price.
Yeah.
So and I'm just getting some love from Wade. Thank you, Wade, for Classics. Appreciate that.
Classics.
And Rich is in the house too. Thank you, Rich. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you guys. So let's see. So Rob, Give us a little
Yeah.
history about yourself, man. What got you into this? And tell us a little bit about your products you have.
Yeah. So what got me into this? So I'd say starting in college, I was a DJ for a lot of nightclubs. And so my love of music has kind of always been there. And then I started morphing into, okay, I love music. I love sound. I love speakers. I started getting into home theater. And then it just kind of escalated to the point where I started doing installations. And then my wife and I moved up to Massachusetts, where I ended up meeting my business partner, Lee Weber, and he had an installation company. And that's where we just hit it off and started NextLevel Acoustics. So if you don't know anything about us, so we started in 2016, but really the speaker designs have been going on for about 35 years. So I don't know if people remember the infinite slope speakers back in the 80s and early 90s. That was John Solocito's design. So I've known John for many years, and what we did is we all came together and we branded NextLevel Acoustics. So what's now going into what used to be, high fidelity 2-channel audio in terms of the engineering is now going into everyday products such as like subwoofers and sound bars and theater speakers. And that's something that you just can't teach. When you build 40,000 loudspeakers over a career, it's just amazing what John is able to do. And we keep telling people, it's like, listen, we can give you the same drivers, the same MDF, the same, components, and they'll sound completely different. So a big part of our company is really based upon John and what he's able to do, but we really wanted to do something different in terms of really tailoring this towards the CI community and coming up with solutions that are a little more unique rather than just looking to be kind of like stocking a stocking company where products are coming in and we're just putting our label on it, or we're just like massive producing. So NextLevel is probably more in line with your James, with your Leon, but we have a massive home theater line as well that we're actually rolling out or continuing to roll out at CEDIA this year.
Very nice, very nice. And are the acoustics that we're looking at here on this? Are you make the actual acoustic panels, or
No.
I know? Okay,
No.
okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because as young as I am,
Okay.
what is, for the audience, infinite slope speak? Because that was a big thing. I mean, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But maybe back in the day, that was a new era technology.
It was
thing. So,
and
for
I'll
those
be honest,
young people like me that are only in my 20s, what does infinite slope mean?
well, I'm going to be honest.
Because you brushed by that,
like,
oh,
because that kind of predates me as well. But the way John explained it, it's like a multiple array of speakers, and it has something to do with the slope and the curve of what he's able to produce using this multi-driver configuration. Now, he'll tell you, back in the day, that was absolutely amazing. We still get calls to this day, people that have the infinite slope and looking for, extra drivers or, for us to do work on it. Obviously, we've kind of, John's kind of sunset that. But it was very big back in the day. I couldn't tell you exactly the whole premise behind it.
Almost like the introduction to true line arrays. I'm not saying that's what it is, but
right.
Just saying, because you just kind of
very
brushed
big
over that whole technology, like infinite slope, blah blah blah, blah, go on. And did you guys, that was started and founded in like New Zealand, right? Like that, or
no? So we're talking. So John, which was originally under JSE, he started. So I mean, he's always been in Connecticut.
Oh, he's always been in Connecticut. Okay.
Always been in Connecticut.
Always thought it was like a New Zealand, like the company.
No, so I believe he was working with Richard Mondafari from they're in Binghamton, the big amplifier company, Macintosh.
Oh, okay. I was like, all
Macintosh.
right.
Yeah.
If you say that,
Yeah.
it better be like the top 3. But
Yeah.
Okay, that was everybody knows that one.
Everybody
So,
knows that one, right?
Yeah,
So
Blue meters.
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Still to this day,
Yeah.
it's like it's classic. That's
Exactly.
classic.
So now fast forward to 2016. We started real small. We started with enclosures for the Sonos Play Bar. Then we went from that to maybe 1 or 2 sound bars. And then in 2025, I mean, you can look at the product mix. It's pretty extensive now. So
Wow.
we started with 1 and 2 products, and now we're at, I mean, pretty much every category.
So do you guys make your own speaker designs and stuff, or is your main focus is like architectural, like, hey, we'll take known, awesome stuff and then make it look way more amazing than it would possibly look if
No. So, well, not entirely. So we make all of our cabinets in-house. We make, we do our own crossover work. Some of the drivers we have specially made for us that are proprietary.
Oh, wow.
So everything is pretty much built in-house.
Okay, so yeah, you guys are full on now.
We're full
Okay.
custom, yeah. And
okay, wow.
yeah, so we tell our dealers that we don't sell speakers, we sell solutions. So a lot of companies have, you have a silver level, and then you have a gold level, and then you have a platinum level. Well, that's our methodology isn't well, if you spend a little more money, then it would sound a little bit more better. It would sound better. We're all about the price performance ratio, which is making sure that our speakers can be enjoyed, not just by the 1%ers, and B, making sure that anyone who buys a NextLevel speaker understands that they're getting the absolute best speaker that we can make for that application. That's why you don't see different tiers of, well, I'll make a $800 retail speaker, and then I'll make a $1,500 retail speaker, and that $1,500 retail speaker will be twice as good as the 800. I'm just not going to make the 800.
Yeah, I like that philosophy because, and no pun intended. Yeah, that's like the next level, because you could get a $90,000 speaker that sounds like crap in one room, but you could, spend $30,000 in that same room, and if it's custom, and it sounds like $100,000 pair of speakers. So
I can tell you, we've had many A/B tests against really big brands, and these speakers hold their own, and they don't have the same price tag.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's awesome. So is everything like custom integrated, order to order? You don't have like a base price line. This is all like, hey, I want to build.
Oh no, we do. Okay. So what you're seeing in here are the base core products. Okay. So for instance, you're on the frame bar. So we were the first to come out with a solution for the Samsung, the Frame TV. The big complaint was, okay, the RTV, it's great, but what do you do for sound? And the whole premise was people are buying the RTV because they want this to look like a piece of art. They don't want big bulky speakers next to it. That kind of detracts from it. They don't want in walls where you see grills on the wall. They obviously don't want towers. So it's like, well, what can we do that stays in the same vein aesthetically as the Frame TV? That kind of makes sense. So we came out with the frame bar, and we've come out with a bunch of different iterations. So the one you're seeing there, which I think is the Fusion Frame, it's either the 2.0 or Deluxe. You've got 2 mounting options, and this is kind of where the engineering comes into play. So on some of these, we use convex drivers. so that because they're more apt to work in shallow air load. So what's nice is that we offer two mounting solutions. One where it's just mounted directly to the wall using pass-through holes. And then two, where you cut out the drywall and you grab a 1/2 inch of the drywall. So what you see on the wall only looks like exactly. So you think the soundbar is only 1.25 inches deep, but it actually retains the air load of 1.75 because 1/2 inch is hidden in the wall. And because you're only grabbing drywall, you don't have to reframe because you're just going up to the studs. You're not actually going through them, right?
And
Okay, 'cause
that
the 1/2
saves a
inch,
lot
yeah.
of money for not having to re-engineer, reload.
Exactly.
Like, a lot of people don't like. You can cut one stud. I'll give you one stud. But man,
Right.
if you cut 2 studs in a row,
Yeah.
you better get a structural engineer.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to cut any studs with these.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you're just
And what's
basically
nice is
pushing
that
them up to the
aesthetically
stud.
it matches. Yep. Get done.
I said you're just basically pushing them right up to the stud, hiding that 1/2 inch.
Exactly. And you're going to see that when we get to the cinema series, we have a very unique solution where you can get a horn system that's usually meant for a 2x6 into 2x4 construction. And that
Oh, wow.
like would have helped you in your situation with our collar system.
So this is the cinema series that you were speaking
So that's
of,
the
right?
Cinema 6. So that's the soundbar version of our Cinema 6s. So
Yeah.
what's great about our product line, a lot of it is mix and match. So what do I mean by that? Any one of our speakers can be an in-wall, an on-wall, a bookshelf, a tower, or a soundbar. And you can pick any configuration that you want. Here's a perfect example. You have a living room. You have a 98-inch TV hanging on the wall. You've got bookcases on either side framing out your TV. And then you've got, side walls and a back wall. And you come to NextLevel, or you go to your NextLevel dealer and you say, all right, here's what I want. I want a custom center channel, the exact length of that 98-inch TV. I want the same driver set, but now I want them in bookshelves and I want them in this veneer and this stain. And now I want matching in walls for sides and rears with the exact same driver set.
Nice.
We can absolutely do that. I'll give you another one. TV over a fireplace. You want a reference grade soundbar, but you only have like an inch between, I guess, the mantle and the bottom of the TV.
Yeah.
We can do a full soundbar above the TV, but here's the problem. Well, now those drivers are firing over your head. So what do? We build in a down angle into the actual baffle of the speaker. So now the whole field of sound is now angled down towards the listening position. We can actually do those with center channels underneath the TV or underneath the projection screen where we kind of angle them up. We can even do those with side speakers. Let's say you need front wides, right? And you're going to put these on the wall. We can angle them back. So you don't even have to do and you probably put it on a bracket. Yeah, you can just
and you engineer those probably for like the dispersion, the vertical dispersion.
Exactly.
And
right.
It's like, hey, these are this vertical dispersion, so we're gonna aim it at the listening position since it's above the TV and
exactly.
And that's and if you do it right, you don't even know that it's not coming straight from the TV.
Right. These are more solutions. It's no different than when we're doing, multiple angles on any one of our products.
Now, do you get like with your customization, do you get like, because you could design that fairly easy knowing the dispersion of the speaker, but
that's right.
Depending on the seating position, that may change because the reflection of the sound on the floor and the ceiling relative to the dispersion pattern of the speaker also has a great effect. So you guys do that level of customization?
We can. So again, the stock products, people can just buy the stock size. But if you want to, no pun intended, take it to the next level.
I was gonna say,
right? If you want to take it to the next level, we've done all custom theaters where they're like, okay, I need Atmos speakers, but I need them to be on the ceiling and I need them to be at 45 and I need them to have 45-degree angles. I need front wides that are in walls. that the angle starts from 0 flush with the wall and then comes out where most of the speakers in the wall. And I need that to be at 35 degrees. I mean, so we can get up to that level of customization, or we can just say stock. It really depends upon
So you
what
have
the
both
dealer
options.
or client's needs are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because that to me, that's where the customization really comes in, because you can angle a speaker, but depending on even your seating position and
That's right.
hey, how many rows do you have? You can get, like, math is a exact science, but it also has, you can add a lot of different lines and formulas in math.
That's it. That is exactly right. I mean,
it's like,
and again,
how many variables do you have?
Right. I mean, we try not to go too crazy with it, right? Because in the end of the day, I mean, our stock designs are absolutely amazing. But what's nice is, since, it's not a question where we have like 700 of these things just sitting in a warehouse, there is the ability to customize configurations, finishes, grill fabrics, angles. I mean, we've even gone so far of building, 101s, saying, I want ribbon tweeters and I want XL drivers and I want the best speaker that you can make in a 3-way.
So while we're talking about customization, we got one question with regards to the output levels for the in walls and the axis, right? How far off axis? So what would you say? Yeah.
It depends on the tweeter that we use. If it's I believe if it's our 4x4 compression horn, I think it's 45 degrees total, but our silk domes are 60 degrees. So obviously you would like to do toe in no matter what to kind of widen that sweet spot, but it depends upon the actual tweeter and drivers that we end up using.
Yeah, so I was looking at,
choose the right ones depending on the requirement. Yeah, so.
Exactly.
So I'm looking at the Cinema 8 here, right?
Yes.
So it says here that you have the proprietary compression horn tweeter. So what you're saying is it can be customized. You can, if I wanted a air motion tweeter in there, you can put a ribbon tweeter, air motion tweeter in there for me if I wanted one. Are you able to do that?
Yeah. I mean, that would be a 101 design.
Right.
Right. But yes. So if you came to us and said, I love the sound profile of these drivers of this, I want you to create something that's a 101. Yes. You would sit down with our engineer. We would go through exactly, what type of performance you're looking for. We would obviously come up with a design. We would come up with a game plan, and then obviously the cost associated with it and how long of a build time that would actually take.
That's cool.
What's the limitations with that as custom wise? Like if I say, hey, I want a line array, could you, do you have the capabilities to do a line array?
Yeah. So it just depends. I mean, so for instance, just asking for different tweeters and different kind of configurations is one thing. Right now we don't do a line array. So that would probably be a taller order. Not that we couldn't do it, but we probably wouldn't take something like that on, because that would be completely reinventing kind of what
can you
types
still
of
do
products we're
infinite
actually
slope?
offering them.
Can you still do infinite slope speaker?
John refuses to make the infinite slope. Every time he gets a call about the infinite slope, he's like, oh, this infinite slope. Why won't people just leave me alone? So it's just, but if you scroll back up top, like, this is going to be very interesting for you, kind of your situation that you ran into. So we've got 3 different models. We've got a Cinema 6, a Cinema 8, and a Cinema Pro. They all use that compression horn. Starting with the Cinema 6, that's 6.5s with that 4x4 horn. Cinema 8s are the 8s with a 4x4 horn. And then you got the Cinema Pros that I actually have in my theater are dual 8s with dual 6.5s with that 4x4 horn. So once
are they all active speakers, or are there any
they're all passive?
Okay.
But they're 95 and 96 dB efficient.
Yeah, I was looking at the dB levels.
So I'm going to give you. So interestingly enough, in my partner's showroom, he's running all these off of an AVR and hitting reference levels clean past 00. and it's crushing it. And so you don't need, so what's great about these speakers is you don't need these massive amplifiers to run your front soundstage or even sides and rears, because they're so efficient. You can actually, as long as you have this, a really good AVR, that's probably, for most people, that's probably as far as you need to go. Now, obviously, if you throw external amplification on it, listen, it gives you additional headroom, and then obviously that amplifier will have its own sound signature. But for a lot of people, a lot of individuals just run this off the AVR, and that saves a lot of money in terms of having to buy external amps, and that money can go elsewhere. That can go for a screen, that can go towards your projector, that can go through a whole host of different things.
So in this Cinema 8, there are any of these passive like radiators, or are they all?
No, those are all active. So all those drivers are active. Those are none of them are passive radiators.
Okay.
So once you pick your model, you actually have different formats. So you can actually get this as, if you scroll down just a little bit more, right there. So you can get these as on wall. That's for 2x6 construction. You can get these as on wall, or you can get these on partial in wall. And this would have helped you.
Yep.
Out. So
there you go. Yeah.
What you see on the wall is only 1.5 inches. The rest goes in the wall. So now this will retrofit into 2x4 construction. And it's basically the thickness of like a acoustic panel. So because all you see is 1.5 inches, as long as your screen's got 2 inches from, I guess, the wall to the back of the material, well, now you're in the game without having to go to 2x6.
6, yeah.
I wish I'd have known about these before, because I probably could have saved myself 18 inches in my room, because I built my room out to be able to house bookshelf speakers.
Right.
I built them out 9 inches.
Yeah.
On each side.
That ask anybody.
It's not too late to tear it down.
Hey, why don't I just start all over after 5 years?
I was really joking.
I just need to tear the sidewalls down. That's all.
Yeah. Hey, you got another 4 years, right? I mean,
I don't plan on moving anytime soon, so I got plenty of years. I got about 25 years of mortgage left on this house, so I'm still good.
man.
Yeah, no, this is, these are great. I kind of told you the story in the green room when we were first starting, but I actually went to the Florida Audio Expo wanting to see. So Giles did a review of your speaker of the let me go to that subwoofer, because I mean, he was talking about how powerful that in-wall subwoofer that you guys have, and I'm really interested to hear that thing. But
so it's the dual version.
Yeah. So
Pro.
I want to use this as a near field, right? So because I have like a bar type of area, a bar top behind my chair, so that I think this would be perfect to kind of set right up against the back of my theater chairs. And but yeah, so I saw this review that Giles did, and man, actually there it is right there. There's a link on the website, guys, if you haven't seen it. But and I know that AV Nirvana did one a little bit later. But yeah, so I was looking at the Florida Expo list of exhibitors, and I saw NextLevel, and I was like, yes, I'm going to go there and check them out. And I also wanted to check out another speaker brand there, but I wanted to go out and check. But then I found out quickly that when I got there that there's another NextLevel. So guys, don't get it confused. NextLevel is a dealer for multiple products, multiple hi-fi products, and these guys are the guys that are actually building speakers and custom fitting them. So that's actually who I went to go see.
I think you saw NextLevel Distribution.
Yeah.
We used to get their purchase orders, and they used to get ours. And the dealer would say, okay, so I'm returning XYZ, and I'll just take a credit. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't have an order from you. And they send it over and it say NextLevel Distribution. So I actually went up to them in a trade show. I'm like, hey, do you guys get like any of our dealers calling you to like place orders? He's like, bro, all the time. I was like, you guys need to change your name. I don't think they're in business anymore.
Oh, they're not
You
in
guys,
business
you
anymore.
guys need to
No,
change
no.
your name. Yeah. The first one to say
At
it.
least I don't think so. I mean,
Because
you can
that
check.
was just like maybe a year and a half ago that I went to
Yeah,
this audio
I
expo.
think if you go to their website, I don't know if they're still around anymore.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I could be wrong, but
I know they sold like the super high end like Borison speakers
yeah,
and stuff like super audiophile equipment and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I mean, sorry to hear that if they did go out of business, but
yeah, I
you know,
don't see them. Yeah, I heard. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought they stopped, but I could be wrong.
yeah. So anyway, you know, I'm highly interested in this subwoofer.
Yeah,
So,
I can tell you about this.
so talk to us about this a little bit. So
Okay,
give us some different applications too.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, these are dual 10-inch drivers, and interesting enough, this fits in 2x4 construction. So the fact that Giles was able to get what he was able to get, and this fits 2x4 construction is. Let's just put it this way: when Giles told me what he got, I said that's absolutely impossible. But then he showed me the curves, and if you go to the video, he's like, "Yeah, and the volume goes up, and it's 10 hertz. Volume goes up, and it's 10 hertz." I'm like, "That's just incredible." So, what's interesting about this is a pro model, meaning we are maximizing every single last inch of air load in order to fit this into 2x4. So there's no terminal cup. You are going wire to wire, and you are mounting this directly to studs. So we've got these 45-degree pass-throughs that go from the baffle and the routed channels. So when you cut your hole in the wall, depending upon where your studs line up, you might have to add some extra wood. And then once you place it in and wire it up, you're going directly to studs. So, and then we give you decoupling gasket tape, so it decouples it from the wall. So this thing
that was going to be my next.
okay.
That was going to be my next question. How do you decouple it?
Yeah, so that's how you decouple it, and it's 100% inert. I mean, that thing is going nowhere. Obviously, it depends on how good your wall was constructed, but from the sub mounting perspective, it's going direct to stud.
So is this the screw here, the side screw up at the top here, where the 45-degree that you're speaking of, or is that just
correct? Yeah, and there are multiple that go around the sub, and then we obviously provide you the screws. And we provide the gasket tape.
So those mounting screw eyelets are at 45. So
they're at 45, right?
Oh, okay. Wow.
Correct.
Okay.
But they bypass the chamber that houses the drive.
Yeah.
So it doesn't right. So you're not
the
cutting
box
into the
is a
airload,
sealed enclosure, and you're using like the fascia of it to increase the volume. To where you're not, because your basket, your surround, and then just your lip and your mount is that's like a couple extra inches.
That's right.
If you're just trying to set it into
right.
something.
So So what's enclosed fits in the wall, and then the rest of it kind of spreads out over.
It would
the wall,
couple out over. Okay, yeah,
exactly.
that's ingenious. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So again. You can use these for so many uses. I mean, obviously for home theater.
I had four 10-inch subwoofers in my gigantic open concept entertainment area, and even just those 4 10-inch subs, man, they hit hard. They didn't get low. But if I had 8 of them,
that's right,
in the wall, I'd probably get a little bit more frequency response.
Does this come with an amplifier? Do you provide your own amplifier?
Nope. So these are just passive. You can put any sub amp on this. Doesn't have to be just any good sub amp. Doesn't have to be the top of the line. What I can tell you is that some people have said, "Oh, I can't wait to use this for waveforming." So if we have any Trenol fans out there, this is a great solution for waveforming as well. What's nice is that this fits 2x4. We're actually coming out with a model that's going to fit 2x6, and that's going to go even lower.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
you have a little bit more.
Yeah, and you don't have to do these as in wall. You can also get these as on wall. We actually make a version that actually slides under a couch that does have an amplifier built into it because it's not in the wall. So we make this. It's I think it's on the site. It's the slim line where it's just extended and there's a plate amplifier built in, so you could slide it under a couch in like a living room, and now you got bass.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, hey, they look like bass shakers to me. Put them
There you
under,
go.
put them under your couch.
Slim line. Yeah, there you go. Get your instant hover ease right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So these subs are absolutely amazing. They actually surprised us. We did not think, because I mean, whenever you're developing speakers, I mean, we have a pretty good idea of how they're going to perform, but and what we try to do is we give real world measurements. I mean, going into an anechoic chamber isn't really realistic, right? I don't know many people that have anechoic chambers and that's how they listen to stuff. No, they throw it in the theater, they throw it in the living room, and they turn it on. And they're like, all right, what does it sound like? I love manufacturers that like put these crazy measurements on. It's like, yeah, if you put the microphone like right on top of the speaker, like that's the measurement. Okay, but
right.
Who's sitting like 2 inches away from the speaker? So,
and everybody has an anechoic chamber headphones,
right,
and they
everyone's
usually
got
don't
it.
like it.
Right,
They're
exactly.
like, "Oh, I like listening on my."
Everybody's got that.
It's
So, so yeah.
like,
So we
okay.
go ultra conservative with our measurements, and as you can see, I mean, not only did Giles blow it out of the water, but Travis from Amy Nirvana blew it out of the water. Travis was getting 15 hertz, and Giles got 10. Obviously, that's room acoustics and a lot of that going on too, but it just shows you what the stuff can do.
Well, and that, I think, for a lot of people that are really into this hobby or starting to get into this hobby and they want to be an enthusiast and maybe they're just starting out, and they really, I'm sure, would appreciate, I know I do as an engineer. It's like, look, I know there's tolerances and all these things and all these variables. So you don't need to be like, worst case scenario. Like,
Right.
yeah, nobody's going to sell anything if you give worst case scenario. But, you know, give you a reasonable, like, yeah. And then in a standard room, this is what you're going to get minimum. And
Exactly.
everybody's going to appreciate that. It's like, honesty, and it'll be it's a longer road, that's for sure. But you know what? In the long run, you know, I think people appreciate that, and it gives a better, you know, value to the name, you know, and and if you have other people like Giles and Avian Nirvana, it's like, no, like they way underrated this. Well, what measurement did they use? And it's like, well, they used a real world measurement. You guys just have your audio people, so you probably have better treated rooms, better sealed rooms, right. And for an enthusiast that's trying to get the best bang out of the buck, that probably would get the same, you know?
Exactly.
But for your for your average Joe, it's like, this is what you're gonna get.
That's exactly
so
right.
for your CIs that you've done, what's the craziest request you guys have gotten, and like the craziest amount of speakers you've had to install?
Amount of speakers was like, I mean, not crazy. I mean, it was like 17 or 18 or 20 speakers, but the craziest request we got, it's not crazy in terms of what they asked for. It's crazy in terms of the size. They wanted a 143-inch long soundbar to go with a 168-inch video wall.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about video walls, because you were talking about the angle that you can put on your sound bar, right? So that would definitely help you with video walls if you're going to put it above or below. That way you can angle that sound.
Well, I'll do you one better. We actually did an LCR for a video wall, but we did them as side speakers. They're called our LRCC. It's left and right with split center, except we did like a fully upgraded version. It was one of our dealers, Adiwan in New York. I think he posted on social media. So you see these big speakers, like, so since we're custom, obviously, so they're built to the exact height of the TV. So they look like they're integrated into the sides of the display, but they have a split center. So if you're not able to get a sound bar below, because let's just say it's too low and you don't want to do an up angle, we can do this split center design. So left, right on top, and then a split center down below.
Okay. So let me ask you, because I stopped sharing, but when I
Yeah.
was building out my theater, let me see if I could share this again. When I was building out my theater, one of the issues that I ran into, and I have Martin Logan speakers, um, and a lot of home theater construction, everybody is recommending, double layer 5H drywall, green
Mhm.
glue, maybe even some, OSB to go along with that, or vinyl, just for soundproofing, right? So, how big are your dog ears? Because the one thing that I ran into is that the length of the Martin Logans did not allow for the double drywall plus green glue. So do you have enough room that these are going to pull in on the
Yeah.
double layer?
So we kept this picture in here because obviously it shows the back box. We've moved off of dog ears. We now
Okay.
use a rail system. So,
Okay.
if you think of a dog ear, right, the dog ear is only holding it from one point.
Mm-hmm.
A rail system it's a long rail that we construct in house. Okay. And as you turn the screws from the front, it pulls against the back of the drywall, but the force is now going across the entire rail as opposed to just like a single point. So you're getting a much better hold. And considering it's not a dog ear, you're able to unscrew it. So you're able to fully go past it and then kind of come back.
Okay. Yeah, because that was a concern for my Atmos speakers. I'm doing bookshelves for
Yep.
the side, so they're just kind of sitting on like a cubby type of thing. But yeah, for my Atmos speakers, I had to actually cut part of the top layer of the drywall that was up so that I could get the dog ears to work. Either that or replace every single screw. But
Right.
I cut about a quarter-inch lip, just enough for the dog ears to come in. So yeah, good to hear that you're using a different system for that, because
Yeah.
that
So
was
what's great about the rails is that you're not limited to one depth. All you have to do is we just get you longer bolts that push it
okay.
out so you can clear it and then come back.
Yeah, so Senor Dusty, Mr. Abe from 3D sound, he's a designer and integrator. He asked, do you have one access response graphs? So he's a dealer for multiple speakers and stuff like that too. So he may be somebody good for you to hook up with.
I have to see what graphs we published on the website. If we don't have it up, we can absolutely get them. I mean, we have them. We obviously didn't publish everything, but I forget which ones we published on the cinema page.
Yeah, I stop sharing here. Let me see if we
I
can
know
go
we
back
published
and
some of them.
kind of find it for you. See what we can kind of
Oh,
share.
for the Cinema Pro. No, yes, we have them for the Cinema Pro. We just haven't put them up there.
Okay, let's see.
I think what you'll see on the site are for the Cinema 8s.
All right, so
if you scroll down, it'll be further down. Keep going, right there.
yeah, Cinema 8s. There we go.
Yeah, so those are for the 8s. But if you want, you can email us at info@nextlevelacoustics.com, and I can get you whatever information you need for the Cinema Pros. And if you happen to be at CEDIA, we will be in Sound Room 11 with the Cinema Pros.
Yep, looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Where's CEDIA this year?
Denver.
Same old
It's back in Denver again, I believe.
I think they're doing it there for the next like 3 or 4 years.
Damn, I just got back from there. I need another excuse to go back there.
Yeah, I'm
It's
definitely going to
December,
make
right?
it this year.
First week in September.
There's more breweries to be had. There's more brews and views.
So let's talk about what made you get into this hobby, right? I mean, I know you talked about you like music and stuff like that, but
yeah,
what was the aha moment that said, hey, I want to get into where we're going to design speakers, or even just get into the hobby itself, right? So what drove you towards this hobby?
Yeah. So I went to college at Binghamton University, And I stayed up there one summer because I was DJing in a bunch of the clubs, and it was better than coming home and like working at Blockbuster. So I'm dating myself, right? This is when Blockbuster Video was like, it was like, oh, what are you doing on a Friday night? Oh, we're going to Blockbuster. We're going to go spend 2 hours picking out, VHS tapes. So I stayed up, and there was this place in Binghamton called JSG Audio. And I just happened to drive by. I'm like, oh, what's this place? And I go in, and I'm like, oh, and he had tower speakers, and everything was on wall. This is old school type stuff. And then I walk in, and he's got like a little theater there, and he's got like some crappy screen, but he's got this Mitsubishi like 3000. That was back when Mitsubishi was like, oh, that's the projector to get. Does
55 and 65,
3000?
right?
Yeah. So it was a Mitsubishi 3000. I think there was a model before that. I think I might have got that one. And then I sat down, and it was like a 120-inch screen. And he played some stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I couldn't even believe like what I was watching. Cause like, the biggest TV I ever had was like a 55 back then, and then growing up, I had like a 13-inch, like, a 13-inch TV that like weighed like 100 pounds. So ever since that, and then, he had the speakers and the whole surround sound. And at that point I had roommates, and I'm like, guys, we have to get this. So I ended up getting it, installing it. And then that was it. I was just hooked because I couldn't believe that you could watch something so big and not be at like a movie theater.
Yeah, absolutely. I had one of those Mitsubishi TVs, and actually I can remember Miller's having those. I don't know if you guys have Miller's in your area, but it's like a bar chain that's all around the East Coast. But they used to have those Mitsubishi TVs all over like sitting up super high all over the place.
Oh wow!
So yeah, it's the rear projection TVs. I think, what did they go up to? Like I think a 70, or maybe, I can't remember. Maybe 65 was the biggest. I can't remember.
But this was a Mitsubishi projector.
Oh, it was a projector. Okay.
Yeah, it was a Mitsubishi 3000 projector.
I was talking about the rear projection TV.
Oh, okay. No, I was talking about, so this was a projector, and it was like, I think it was like 720p. But that still blew me away. I'm like, oh my God, 720p. That's like amazing. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That's awesome. So let's go to the chat, see if we got any questions here for Mr. Rob. Let's see here. So not Ike, but Abe had that question.
Yep.
Let's see. Any questions for Rob about his product, guys? Let's sound off in the chat. Rob, anything else that you'd like to cover for any of the anything on the website? Something that you guys might be working on coming up?
Yeah, I think the biggest the coolest thing is the audio art. That's definitely one that I'd like to highlight because I think that that's super unique. So a lot of our designs are really, they're really design forward. So we work with a lot of designers throughout the country, and the audio art was kind of, this is kind of our baby. We kind of brought this from concept to being a real live product. So I'll wait for you to pull out. Yep. So if you want to scroll down. So what this is our sound bars on steroids to look like a framed piece of art. So think of the artwork as, your Sony or your frame TV or whatever, the canvas art TVs or whatever TVs nowadays. They've got a ton of different models that do like artwork, and it's got a matte screen and it looks like it's like painted. But what do you do for sound, right? Again, similar to the frame bar, we didn't want to detract from the fact that they've got this piece, but they want this to be a focal point. So we said, all right, well, what can we do here? All right, well, what if we did modules that framed out the TV? And then what if we did grills that when you put them together, it looks like a picture mat and not like speaker grills? And then more importantly, what if we then did a custom frame kit that magnetically adhere to the whole thing so that it looks like you just framed a piece of art, but it's actually like pretty much a whole surround sound system, like built in. Wow. And that's what audio art is. So you can do 3 different configurations. You can do just left and right, so stereo. You can do left, right, and dual center channel, or you can do left, right, center, and up above two height channels. And it's all integrated in. And actually, if you scroll down, we have some real pictures of one of the installations on a 98-inch TV. Is kind of down below. It's pretty wild. You can pick, different grill fabrics. You can pick any Benjamin Moore paint color for the frame kit. And it's just, it's a fully integrated solution that looks like you just framed a piece of art. And if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll actually see the real world pictures of the install. It's just a little further down.
Yeah. Keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling.
That's not a real. That's not a real picture.
So if you want to expand these, so people can get a sense of like what this thing looks like. So that's a 98.
Click on it.
Dang. Yeah. Click on that. Click on the next one with the.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy.
With the person in it. That gives you the idea.
So now he's doing the frame kit, right?
Wow.
I mean, it's just crazy.
That's crazy. And yeah, and when you finish, it looks like it's,
it looks like it's frame. Just a framed. Now, this individual just wanted black. I personally would have done a different color, but it kind of gives you the idea. And then 2 of the pictures up top show you with different colors and so on.
So what was the display in this? Do you remember what the
that was either I think that was a Sony, the XR90. So maybe it was 100-inch.
And basically what you do is you just customize the exterior to go around the TV and hide the bezel and all that stuff, correct?
Yeah. It's a very intricate, labor-intensive process because it has to be
I'm sorry, I don't mean to say just.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah.
It looks like it takes a lot of engineering.
Take you 12 years done.
but honestly, once it's up, it's absolutely. I mean, it's a showstopper.
That looks amazing.
Man, that is nice.
Yeah, that is like super, super custom.
And what type of like for sound? I know you said left, center, right. What type of are these speakers going to reach reference? Or what are we looking at for that?
Yeah, so these aren't going to reach reference because the point of this is to try to keep the modules as thin as possible, so that it's not this big bulky like mat. So there are 2.5-inch, high performance drivers, but multiple, obviously. It's the same driver that we use in our S3 and the same driver that we use in our Fusion Frame 2.0. Now, that being said, since we are custom, if you wanted to reach reference levels, we could always look at doing 101s with 4.5-inch drivers, 5.5-inch drivers, 6.5-inch drivers. Yeah. But this is kind of the starting point. So this is the quote unquote stock model. And then you can always go bigger and change things. But this is kind of the starting point.
So I know you have dealers, right? So
yes,
I know you deal with them, but just if you could give us just a ballpark of what your MSRP is for something like this.
Okay, so for something like that, you're probably starting at about close to 10,000 at MSRP.
Okay, well that's not bad at all. I mean, if you just bought 4 Sonos sound bars to put around your speaker without it looking like
$4,000 right there,
a hodgepodge of bars,
right? But that's everything. That's all the modules in any configuration that you want.
Yeah.
All the grills in any designer fabric that you want, and the frame kit in any stain, veneer, color that you want.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that's everything.
That's actually not bad at all.
That's cool. You're incorporating height channels.
Now the one I was going to say the real live picture that looked like it was used as heights, right? In that center speaker. Okay.
Correct. Those are actually, if you click on scroll up one sec, once you bounce out of this, I'm going to show you something interesting. So scroll up. Okay. Nope. Keep going. Right there. The middle one with the heights. So look at this And now click that off, and now go to the LCR on the left. What's the difference between the two?
Yeah, you
And
have
this is
them
why we're
angled.
next level.
Yeah.
So let's see who can figure this out. What makes this different? Obviously, this has a dual center and the other one has heights. But what's different about the design for the heights than the design for that?
Well, I'm going to keep going back and forth
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna-
these are the little things that we do that separates us.
Well, I mean, considering the fact that I've never seen anything like that, you've already separated yourself.
Right, sure.
But yeah, no, I mean, the modules
is
look the
what-
same
is
other than the
what
fact
we're
that
doing is we're doing a different, not only a different crossover, I can tell already, because we have the angle and the different driver placements, because
Yes.
you look at the left, center, right, and you have notice the big difference here is the driver count for your heights, because you're not trying to muddy it with, your lower frequencies, because again, heights at a lot of the times it's ambient sound, right? You're not trying to, and you're probably reducing that. Hey, I don't want any of that sound to come from the speaker. I want it to be reflective, because people have this, and I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with them, but essentially these are bouncy house speakers in the the layman's terms, but if done right, it does work. And that's
how your
why
theater
you're
is set up.
reducing the driver count here to make it, I'm assuming that's, and with the crossover design, and there's probably a lot more stuff that's happening here.
So
well, you can see that the left and right are positioned a little bit higher with the dual center, right?
Right.
So you're trying to separate the separate the
Exactly.
speakers
Yeah.
by bringing them down.
Yes.
So yeah, so
We
But
have
your
some
ear
people in the
height
chat
would
that got
normally
it, yeah.
be, but that now on the, you probably, I would just assume you had the drivers for the lower middle to compensate. It would be, you would have enough vertical dispersion
Mhm.
to accommodate for any of that. So you wouldn't even notice, that slight, because some people are like, oh, the tweeters have to be. And,
Oh yeah.
and there are some, I don't have behind the screen speakers, so
So the question that I have for this, I know of 2 receivers that will accommodate for the dual center. One of them being Trenoff, and the other one being the new Sony.
That's right.
So, I mean, is that solely what you're recommending for this, or
No, because you can actually wire them together and come out of the
Okay.
center.
I see. So okay, so you're just sending one individual signal there. Okay.
But the fact that Dead End and Trainov has it, I mean, that's obviously a bonus.
Right. Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, these things are. I'm glad you showed this to us, because these are unbelievable. I mean, you talk about frame. I have
they
Samsung
look
frame, right?
amazing.
We installed one of these. My wife's a physician. We installed the Samsung frame in her office.
Yeah.
And it was next level, but now, I mean, now this is really next level. So,
Right.
no pun intended there, but yeah, I mean, this is phenomenal. I mean, I love the look of this.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I can tell you that whenever we bring this out, all the oohs and ahs happen, which is, I mean, that's what we're looking to do, right? We're kind of looking to create our own lane here and not just follow suit. I mean, we've been asked, oh, can you guys do small aperture? And it's like, yeah, I'm sure we could figure it out, but there's so many other speaker brands that are already doing it. We would just be one of like many. We wouldn't have a comparative advantage in it. So we're just going to stay in our lane and come out with products that we can come out with first, or come out with a unique take on it, rather than just being one of 10 other manufacturers that make small aperture.
Yeah, these are awesome. I really like the
Awesome. Thanks.
level of craftsmanship that goes into this. It's very, very good. Very good.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I mean that whole setup around that TV. I mean, I know $10,000 sounds like a lot, but man, it's like you buy a Sonos soundbar. It's like my buddy, he has a waft factor that's a little higher, and I was like, yeah,
Sure.
this is what you need. And yeah, and I think he spent like $3,000 on the soundbar, just the one soundbar,
Right?
And I'm like, you got like a whole surround, like a big, like this wasn't a big sound bar, this is the smaller one, and he spent like $3,000 on that for $10,000 for a whole array around,
and the grills and the frame, and
making it I can guarantee you I will say, hey, call this guy right here, this is what you need if you wanted to,
right.
Yeah.
So I was looking down here earlier, and I saw that you did like some. I'm trying to find where that was, but you did some custom veneers and stuff too.
Yep. We do custom veneers, finishes. So we have, natural cherry, oak, walnut. Yeah, I mean, so we can do natural veneers. We've got obviously our standard stock colors as well, and then we can obviously do minimal grain or no grain type woods with any Benjamin Moore color as well. So you've got a lot of different options than just black or white. Let's just put it that way. We even do the IR badges, which I'm sure you guys are seeing, where you got the IR badge and you want the soundbar to sit flush under the TV. So what we do is we extend the grill above the top of the soundbar, and we cut a notch so that the IR badge will drop into that. So you get that seamless look versus a gap, because you can't get the bar up against the bottom of the TV because you got that IR badge pushing it away.
So what kind of warranty do you give with your?
Sure, absolutely. So it is 5 years on drivers, 2 years on amplifiers, and 90 days on fit and finish. And the only reason why you have a fit and finish problem is if FedEx or UPS threw this off their truck.
Okay.
Which has been known to happen every once in a while. So we use 275 double wall cardboard. We use thick filament tape. We use like super rigid foam. And every once in a while, and on some of our packages, like our enclosure for the Sonos Arc, that's hollow in the middle, we'll actually reinforce the inside with like plywood. FedEx every once in a while still finds a way,
man. Yeah.
To destroy it, even though we got all that going on. So
yep.
Yeah.
How easy is that to fight shipping and stuff like that? For them
we've actually had pretty good luck. There's a couple times where they're like, oh, claim denied. And I'll call them up and say, why'd you deny it? Oh, well, we didn't have X. And a lot of times they just hope that you'll give up, and I'm just not going to give up. So eventually we get paid out.
I wouldn't give up either. So let's talk about these under the floor subwoofers.
Oh yeah, under the floor. Okay, so these are triple duty. I'm going to kind of explain these. So these are, again, another unique solution. We sell a lot of these. They go, in between the rafters, in between the floor joists, and they port up through a air register vent. And we've got a 10 and we've got a 12. So this is a great space saver in terms of you're not going to have big bulky subs, but you're able to get that really deep bass if you don't have a cabinet to do our in cabinet subs, or you don't want to see a sub on the floor, or you don't want to see a big speaker grill on the wall because you want to do, because of an in wall sub. So what's great about this is that you just hide it into the floor joist, and then it just ports out again through an air register. So if you remember, I said that it's triple duty. So dealers So our clients have had these installed under the floor. You can flip them upside down. You can install them going, into an attic, firing down through either a grill, a custom grill that we can make you, or it can be an air register mounted in the ceiling. A lot of people also, we've sold a couple of these where they put them into a stairwell and it ports out in between the risers and the steps. So again, there's multiple uses for this type of sub.
Very nice.
Let's scroll up again.
34 to 100.
Yep. And again, those are conservative numbers.
Oh, yeah. You need those in your riser.
Dude, you need these. You have a basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. If you have a basement, then your first floor is ready to rock and roll. You
So
just
what's
throw a couple of these in there.
what's the depth on these? Because I did build a 12-inch riser.
Yeah,
I could just
they're
build
actually
the
right
whole
there.
floor
So
with
those are
nothing.
the stock depths.
Look,
So
that
those
would
are the
fit
stock
right in
depths. So
there.
if you click on each tab, it'll tell you the stock depths for the 10 and 12. But we can change those within reason and retune the air load. So if you're like, yeah, I don't have like a traditional, like where I want to put it is a little short, but I got more length. Okay, well, we can go shorter on one side, we go longer on the other, capture the same air load, re-engineer it, and then ship that out to you.
Yeah, so the depth is 13.5. So that's, I could definitely do the 10s though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the 12 is underneath that. I think that you could probably fit the 12 because I mean all of these fit in standard, floor base.
Okay. Yeah. Well, my riser, I use 2x2.
The riser. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would be good for a riser application.
Yeah. Put it right underneath of my seats to give me my own hover ease.
Pretty much.
And they're not that heavy either. 48 pounds. Nice.
No,
Yeah,
no, they're
bad.
not. And
Good thing I installed my carpet in 3 different sections so I could easily pull stuff up if I need to.
pull it up, yeah.
Man, you have endless options here. I like this.
Yeah, the only thing we don't do is true outdoor. We do like a semi-outdoor, like in a pavilion using like weatherized components, but we don't do true outdoor, like in the elements, like ambisonic and so on and so forth. Again, that's not our wheelhouse. We're more like inside.
So your CI series, do they have trickle down from the cinema series, or is it just a whole different design altogether?
It's a different design. So the cinema series uses a horn-based system, and the CI series uses silk domes and DXs and like a different, more like dome tweeters.
Very nice. Very nice.
So the IW55 and 55S, it's the signature series, that's for 2x4 construction.
Okay.
No modifications needed on that. And that is an awesome speaker. It's not crazy expensive. I think it's around $10.99.
Okay.
And everything comes fully back box. You want to make sure that what's ever in your wall has zero effect on what's going on with the speaker. So, back boxes are standard.
So you don't suggest just willy-nilly in it and using the cavity of the wall?
Yeah, no. I love the but it's tuned for open air. Really? Is it tuned for the gas pipe? And is it tuned for the batting? And is it tuned for the mouse poop or the mouse that's back there? And is it tuned for the 18 fucked up pieces of wood that are shooting out? I mean that's kind of a stupid statement, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It's just, come on.
Yep. That's wild.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh man!
And you can also get this in the on-wall and in-wall.
Absolutely,
right?
you can. Or as a sound bar, or as a bookshelf, or as a tower.
So everything is interchangeable. The drivers
right.
are just as interchangeable as the cinema series.
Correct.
Very nice.
Correct.
And I was looking at, so for the cinema series, what are we looking at for the Atmos solution?
Yeah.
Or the
So the
heights?
cinema series, you would pair that with our IC44A.
Okay, so that would be a
Right. a horn in the ceiling is a little aggressive. We just don't think it's needed. And then the form factor would be ginormous. It just wouldn't make sense. So the IC44A is more than capable of keeping up with the Cinema series. But I'll be honest, like Atmos, I love Atmos. I have Atmos in here. I mean, I'll show you guys. You know, if you guys want to take a tour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've got like this drop down section here. So like I couldn't do like 4 speakers. You'll kind of see it. But like just in ceiling rounds too. I mean, you don't have to go crazy with Atmos. I'm like, listen, if you're, you know, if you don't want to break the bank and go like super high end or, you know, middle of the road, and you just want something that's good and clean for Atmos, like you don't have to go crazy. At least that's just my opinion.
I haven't noticed the difference. I have JBL 10-inch.
There you go.
With horn tweeters, and I didn't notice the difference between that and the clip 4-inch bookshelves that I had with the Atmos.
At the end of the day, it's Atmos. Now, the IC44A, what's interesting about this is, you know, look, this is the thing that you can configure on this is quote unquote standard. So what do I mean by that? So this comes 2 ways. It comes with that 20-degree down angle, or you can get it without the angle. So why would you want to do that? All right. So scenario 1, you can place the Atmos speakers exactly where they need to be. Then you don't need this down angle because you're going to put them directly where they need to be, and they're going to fire, you know, the way that they need to fire. Or you can't quite them get there, but you can put them a little farther out, and now they got that down angle to hit that position. Okay. So again, that's option 2. Option 3 is you can use these as, I mean, if you want to get crazy and you want to do a whole surround system in your ceiling.
Wides. What about wides?
And wides. So if you go back to that original picture on the front page, that's what that dealer did. He threw his in the wall, and now these became wides.
Yeah, that's what I did for my theater. I used angled in ceiling. Let me see if I can go back to the front page like you were talking about.
I think it's like the second one in, the second on the slider. There it is. So right there, those are the IC44As.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, angled back, and those are IW55s. And then what he did, and he did Cinema Pros up front, behind the screen.
Very nice, beautiful theater.
Yeah, he did a really good job. That's Habitech. He's a dealer out in Wisconsin. Awesome guy. Yeah, he did a great job with that theater.
Well, you got one question.
Shoot.
So,
Spinorama. I love that word.
No, there's not Spinorama data on the website. But again, if you email us at info@nextlevelacoustics.com, we can absolutely get that for you.
So, Senor Dusty, he asked, I guess we're back with the dual centers. He's asking any issues with comb filtering or lobing effects having center above and below the TV. How's that?
So the short answer is no. The long answer is John explained to me why, based upon his design. That doesn't. I'd have to get you the answer, the technical answer on that. But we've been asked that question before, and I know no. The way that he does it, it does not produce any of those artifacts.
Very good.
I've done dual matching centers before, and I mean, okay, there might have been, but I was like, I couldn't audibly. Oh, hey, you know, those are X feet apart. I can hear 1.8 kilohertz is not audible now. So,
yeah. So
try it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, look, anything's possible, right? I mean, you can try it. If you don't like it, if you do hear that, you know, then obviously you can go back to the just without the dual, you know, center. It's dual centers, right? You can go back.
Make them heights, right? Make them height.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
So.
Or if you're doing any kind of DSP, you know, because that's how the Chernobyl and the Sony does it, right? They're just
right. Exactly.
Yeah, they're just doing. And
I mean, I'll be honest. We don't get a lot of requests for dual centers.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
obviously we have that option and we have that ability.
And
I
if
mean, look,
it's
if you're
custom-
wrapping a 100-inch TV, right? I mean, there's quite a bit of separation there.
Well, and if
Oh,
it's
yeah.
custom, he could build that in without, like a DSP, you could process it out, and that's all Trinnov and Sony's doing it. But if you know the custom integration, you could do it with your crossover and filter that out ahead of time. Kind of
Yeah.
do like a trade-off between the two, top and bottom.
So let's answer a couple questions, and
So
then
do you
we'll
guys? Oh yeah, yeah.
we'll answer a couple questions real quick, and then we'll get to your tour, because I know these
Cool.
started right at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
So Ike, you had a question here. Do you know any experience with Hugo's? If I'm saying that correctly.
No, I have not. I've heard about it, but I have not used it. I just only used the HD Fury, which I actually have disconnected. I'm using the Lumigen right now, so but I can look it up.
Is
But
that the little bitty ones like I have, or like this?
it's one of
type deal?
those, who goes,
Yep. No, they work. Like they work. It's like this one particular. I don't have any experience, but I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, right? Like where you, let me take this out of the box. Box opening. Basically, but here's the thing.
Switch over.
I will tell you this, all right? Like this is whatever. It's kind of the same thing. This is the, I'll probably have this upside down. Do I have that upside down?
Yep.
Or is it,
that's the user.
Okay, so here's one of them, right? And so basically, they're all the same thing. But I'm telling you, the amount of knowledge and if you're into it and you like messing with EDID data, if you don't know how to manipulate EDID data, get the HD Fury. If not, you can use one of these $25, $35 devices, and yes, they do the exact same thing. It's no difference than the conversation of Plex versus Kaleidoscape. That's what it boils down to.
It's good.
This is your Plex for the HD Fury.
Yeah.
Too much work for Don.
Yeah. Don's not getting this. I can tell you that right now because I'd hang up on him. No, bro, I'm not answering you. Get out of here.
So Hi-Fi Finest.
And I think that is the only one that can do the whole Dolby Vision Profile 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and do it
basically
really
this
correctly.
device will tell all your devices, hey, I have everything. And you can tell it whatever. It's like, oh, here's my lumens, here's my blah, 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 here's what I have capable of. But you have to be able to manipulate hex data in order to tell this device what it's capable of.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And an HD Fury, I mean, God, dude, what are they, $200?
It's
like,
just
dude,
walk.
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Just get the HD Fury. And I own this, and I bought an HD Fury. I bought the wrong one. I bought the one for the frame rate and all that stuff. So I ended up returning it. But I can tell you, I'm still debating on getting it. So again, should I say?
So HD Finest, we'll try to answer this after we do the tour here.
I mean, what exactly is he trying to talk about with Dirac? Is it bass control? Any particular?
Yeah, well, it does say specifically bass control. So I don't have any experience with Dirac.
We would have to understand what do you mean by bass control, because you can get Dirac, you can get Dirac Live, and then you can get Dirac Live with bass control. And basically and I wish Miguel was here because he remembers all this shit. The Dirac bass control is if you have multiple subwoofers and you want to phase align and EQ each subwoofer independently, type of deal. But do you need? I mean, once you get 4 subwoofers, I mean, do you need? That like that you're almost to the point now where you don't need to EQ or do anything because your room controls all that. And if you do proper placement, so that's kind of a double-edged sword there, right? Now, Durac, I love Durac. I like the system overall. People say that their bass adjustment isn't.
I think
They don't like it as much, but man, as far as like just the audio overall, I love how Durac does their EQ.
All right, so we'll go ahead and do the tour, and then we'll if we need to polish that question a little bit, High Five Finest, let us know in the comments so we can try to answer anything for you about that.
Okay, Rob, you might need to flip your camera horizontally.
Oh, you mean like this?
There you go. That's much better. And
all
then,
right, can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and
Perfect.
clear.
All right, let's start this. So we're going to start with the back of the room and then kind of move out. So this is the back of the room. So we've got high velocity 12, URC 5100 in terms of the control. Got a waterfall bar with 3 bar seats here.
You went the old
This-
classic Star Wars.
Yeah, this is the Sony Bravia 8 projector.
Nice.
And
Very
this is very interesting. This is from Nigel B. This is an isolator that literally, I can go bone crushing bass in here and the projector doesn't move an inch.
Oh wow.
What did you call it? What did you say it's from?
They're from Nigel B. They make tons of different isolators, and this is one of their projector isolators.
Wow.
Nice.
So anything that's transferred to your walls that goes up to the ceiling that would normally transfer to like the chief mount and shake it, this totally negates it. All these rubber isolators just take all that energy and they just deaden it.
It
Nice.
looks like that clear thing up there is like a glass, so you can pour water in it to verify.
That is the last
this is just the lens cap. That's just the lens cap. All right.
I pour water in here to verify.
I like that. That's a lot of faith. That's a lot of faith in the Sony product.
All right. So these are Acoustasmart seats. These are Acoustasmart seats. So we've got rears. We got sides. So these are IW55, but the upgraded versions. I'll show you there. They're magnetic. All right. Now we come around here. We've got 2 high velocity 15s in the front of the room. This is a Stewart Studio Tech micro perf vertical masking screen. With this is a 235 122-inch diagonal screen.
Nice. And it's got the masking built in. That's the director.
It's got the masking built in. Yep.
The director's
It's got the masking fully built in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then we've got behind the screen, we've got the Cinema Pros, which are the dual 8s with the dual 6.5s with the 4x4 horn. And then up here, we've got, our Atmos. Like I said, you see how I've got like a drop down situation? We just took care of that with time delay. It sounds phenomenal. And then in the back of the room, I wasn't able to do any Atmos because once you start getting into that back there, there's like no room. So This is a 7.2.2 technically, because the front's doing most of the bass and the back is just doing some filler.
Now I noticed you did some angle walls there, or in the front. Are your sides? Are your L and R and the angled walls outside of the screen or behind them?
No. So it's all of them are behind the screen, and the reason why we did that is because I can't put a speaker here because this is where behind this panel is the radon remediation system that I have to get to.
Yep.
So putting a speaker there would be, I'd be kind of screwed if I ever had to get back there. But I mean, it sounds absolutely phenomenal in here. Actually, we're going to be changing out the acoustic panels. So Kinetics is going to be doing some custom panels. We're going to be doing some combo panels along with absorption. We're probably going to do 4-inch panels, kind of framing out those speakers in the back, and we're going to do some combos in various areas, and then some thicker absorptions. So that should be happening probably after Cedia. And then let me take you on a tour outside. So, and then we've got, carpet tile and.
So what's the room dimension?
Yeah. So the room is 18.6 deep by about 13 wide.
Okay.
So again, it's not, it's really meant for one row, but I like the look of the bar. So we did some bar seating back there.
I like it there. Yeah. It's
cool. It's just interesting. It adds a touch. And plus, we wanted to show a theater that wasn't like 100% perfect, because not everyone can do brand new construction and floating walls, and make every angle perfect. Like a lot of people are in situations where you got to work with what you got. And, I mean, we got lolly columns that we had to frame out, but it sounds absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you kind of got like an inset, and what we're looking at right there, you have kind of an inset with like maybe a closet right there on the side, or
so right here were 2 columns that we had to frame out, and then I'll take you to the outside where you'll kind of see like why we had to do that, and then it created like a niche on the outside of the room. But yeah, so there are 2 lolly columns there. And when I asked the guy, I was like, "Oh, so how much to remove those?" It was like, "Oh, it's like 10 grand. We need to get a beam here." I'm like, "Forget it." I'm like, I'm not starting with all that.
Right. Exactly. No, the room looks phenomenal, by the way.
Awesome. Thank you.
The color, the red with the black is awesome. Yeah.
It's very cool. It's very cool. So now, but there's way more fun coming out here. So here we've got Memorabilia Alley. So I'm a big Red Sox fan. So we've got, 2004 team signed bat from when they won the World Series. We got a movie. Here's the digital movie board.
There you go, Jamie.
All right.
Yeah.
Had them on there. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
It's very cool. So what's nice is that this is a Samsung 55-inch frame TV, and we went to our friends over at Frame My TV, and they provided a custom frame kit for it, which looks great. And we're running the DMB Pro and soon the Pro Plus. That should be coming out soon. Yeah. And then, we were able to do some custom graphics with NextLevel and so on and so forth. So it came out really good. We've got the old school NBA Jam, except this is loaded with 1,100 games. Nice. So that's we love doing that. And we've got a little bar area with my boy, Larry Bird.
Oh, I'm a Hoosier. I was born.
And now we're coming over here. So here's the custom poker table that we had done.
Nice. Now you're talking my language.
Yeah. So
not only look at that, I'm out.
So we had to get special permission from, I think it was Caesars at the time, from one of the casinos for us to be able to use the logo. But it's got USB charging ports in there. It's got an auto shuffler built in. It's got LED lights that kind of light up on the inside. So we love playing down here.
PLO or Hold'em?
Hold'em, no limit.
Okay, no limit.
We usually play 1-2. We usually play 1-2.
Okay.
Yeah. And then here we got a little Sonos setup. Because it's just easy. We got a Sonos Arc Ultra and a sub. Nothing crazy. Now let me take you into the rack space. So now we're going to go back here.
Well, that's got the club on it, so you can't get out.
Oh yeah,
you can't get out. Who do you put in here?
Exactly.
There's a 50-inch sub there. No.
All right. So first thing, we've got a Surgex PF420 branch network. Okay, this is running clean power to all 320 amp outlets that I have back there.
Nice.
We've got, so now let's go to the rack. We've got Surgex power conditioner. We've got the URC brains of the operation. We've got Netgear is doing all the internet pretty much except for the one Luxel switch. So that's a Netgear router. Got some AC Infinity. We got an Anthem MRX 740, Kaleidoscape, an Emotiva amp for the front, speaker power, amplifiers for the subs, another Panamax power conditioner, a Panasonic Blu-ray player, and then down here we got another speaker power amp for the back sub, and then we got a firm and uninterrupted power supply going to the projector.
Very nice.
And then I got a little workstation here if I ever need to go, to do any work on the rack so I can see what's going on without having to run to the theater. And then we got some more Netgear going on here.
So for you said you did the Furman specifically for the projector, right? So
Yes.
did you is that hardwired to the outlet, or did you run extension cord for that?
Not an extension cord. It's like, so we ran, what's it called? Was it Romex it basically, there's like a special type of connector that they're able to run where it kind of takes the power and gets it over there. But I don't think they're using Romex. It's a way to move power. And then it basically comes down here.
So yeah, because I was thinking the same thing for my projector myself. I have a watt box, but I was running into, do I just make a plug and plug it into the back of the watt box, or do I? Because there's no place to really just like junction box to hardwire it like it would be the code for you to do.
Well, if you're talking watt box, then you're just talking surge protection, correct?
Right. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. This is an uninterrupted power supply, so your power goes out. Now, granted, that's a laser projector, but still, it's screaming hot in there. If God forbid the power goes out, I really don't want the fans not to be able to cool it down before it shuts off. So.
Yeah, that's a big killer.
That's a big killer. Yeah. And then we've got in the back, we've got tributary cables, and we've got a mini DSP for the subs. And then eventually, John Heron's probably going to come to me and be like, Rob, why don't you have a trim up in there? I'm probably going to say, all right, John, what kind of deal are you going to give me on that? So
Exactly.
I'm sure at some point we get trim off.
Are you giving me one? I'll put one in there.
I know, exactly. Considering they're like $30,000. And then also Lumigen. A Lumigen is going to be going in shortly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then what's his name? Chris Deering is going to be coming down to calibrate it. Chris is a big ISF calibrator that is just absolutely swears by Lumigen. So we're going to be getting a Lumigen in here to handle the projector, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think Chris should be in the Texas area this coming week. So.
Oh, really?
Yep.
You're going to get him come by your house?
Man, unfortunately, we will not be around when he's going to come in. Yeah, I try to work things out. The schedule falls on my daughter's birthday, so we got plenty of stuff planned. So
yeah, my son's birthday is at the end of the month too. So
I like this, man. This is pretty cool.
That's great.
You got the you got the theme going on,
Yeah, I got the theme going on. Yeah, exactly.
I love that. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And then here we're gonna move this, and we're gonna get these special display cases. And like upstairs, I just finished building the Lego Millennium Falcon, so we're gonna have that all displayed here. And then down below, we're gonna do like all Star Wars and like anything movie related. We're gonna do like I built the car from Back to the Future, and it has a light kit. So like when you hit play, like plays the theme. So we'll have some of those models out here.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Cool. Hell yeah.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate you sharing that with us. I love the look of the room. You did a great job with the design on that. Love the bar in the back.
We just Don
anybody
is not
with a
gonna
bar
finish
is a
his
friend of
theater
mine,
now.
It's like, hey, if you give me an area to drink, I'll come and watch movies every day.
Seriously, right? Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Cool.
Man, that's awesome. So So what made you go? I know you said Chris Deering. So I just recently discovered the power of the Lumigen, and
Yes.
he has added that to his system. So what made you, besides Chris, to choose that versus any other product on the market?
Oh, Lumigen versus like Mad VR.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it is, well, one is obviously price. Mad VR is very expensive. That's number one. And
The
number
extreme
two,
is not the core. The core is not bad.
true. I don't know. I mean, Lumigen's been around longer. I've been a Lumigen dealer forever. I just really like what Jim's doing. I haven't A/B'd them, I'll be completely honest.
Okay.
But some of the people I've spoken to in the industry, kind of liken it to, one may have more marketing behind it versus one may be a little more technical in nature. So I'm just more comfortable with going with the Lumigen. And listen, I'm sure that both are great.
Yeah.
I'm just more in tuned with the
What you're
Lumigen.
familiar with. Yeah, you're
Exactly.
familiar with it.
I'm familiar with the Lumigen, right? Chris Deering, that does a great job in terms of calibration. I mean, that's kind of his go-to.
Mhm.
So, I'm kind of going to stay in that lane, and I'm also doing the sound room with Lumigen. So, that also helps.
Well, yeah. In that case, yeah, you can't blame it. It's like, well, duh.
Yeah,
In that
exactly.
case, well, yeah. Why would
Well, I mean,
go?
both great products.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
they're both great products, and kind of like what I was mentioning. I mean, I'm just running an Anthem, and it's great. I mean, I'm sure when I get a Trin oven here, it's going to be spectacular. But
Yeah.
honestly, like if you have a really good calibrator, I mean, they can do wonders, especially audio
Mhm.
calibration, and and you have the right treatments and so on and so forth. See, people don't well, some people don't realize that you can have the best speakers in the world, but if your environment is crappy,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. You have to get your environment, right. There's a lot of clients that say, "Oh, but I want to do hardwood floors." I'm like, I don't know about that. Or, "Oh, I want to paint the walls like, a light tan." I'm like, I don't know about that either. So
Well,
if
I
you
mean,
get
You
your
could do hardwood floors if you had a 18-inch cloud ceiling. You know,
Sure,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
they're straight
or
offs.
even
It's like
you talked about angling and dispersion and stuff. So I know that like other speakers have narrower dispersion, right? To
correct.
try to help with that, right? So
Oh,
I
absolutely.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I have seen some. Hardwood floor theaters. I mean, they look great. Are they functional? I don't know. Just seeing them from pictures
Right, right.
and how much stuff you get.
Yeah.
How much reflections you get off of that hardwood and stuff like that. I'm
Right.
sure it's not a good
Yeah.
thing for an acoustician to come in
If
and
you're still
have to
enjoying
deal
it,
with.
yeah. But
No.
when it comes down to it, if you're still enjoying it and you can still tangibly hear your
That's
system,
what matters the most.
you know, because let's be honest, when we're the niche, right? We're
Correct.
like, oh, was that, oh, I hear a little comb filtering. Get out of here. Ain't nobody that walks into your theater, no matter what it is, watches a movie and then leaves, thinks, oh, they need like a 40-degree dispersion speaker. No, they only see when it first showed, and the lighting and the appearance and walking down the hall and what he was just showing us. That's what people see. That's what people remember. They remember that. Oh, he had the NBA jams. He had a Red Sox jersey signed, blah 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 blah. He had the Millennium Falcon lit up, and that's what people remember. That honestly, I mean, as much as we hate to admit it, that's what.
It's totally true. It's totally true. I mean, listen, this room here. I mean, listen, there were compromises with this room. It's about how do you balance the aesthetics with the performance.
Yeah.
It's never going to be a home run. Well, I mean, it can be. I mean, if you have unlimited budget and just unlimited
If I have
space. Yeah,
$30 million
Yeah.
to spend on
Sure.
a theater,
and you can go from scratch on
get
everything.
both.
Sure. Yeah. But it's always a compromise, right? It's finding that sweet spot. Like, what do you value, right? And kind of finding that sweet spot.
Yep, and that's what makes it a hobby and what makes it fun. We're all just
Exactly
trying to experience and have a good time, you know, because it could be like a Sonos sound bar and you walk in, but yet it's decorated. So you're like, damn, like what the hell? Like,
Right.
Your theater may sound 10,000 times better than this one, but you know what? 9 out of 10 people are going to remember the fancy setup over, a black room, right? It's like, oh.
I'll give you a perfect example. At our first CEDIA, I mean, no one knew us, right? We had a little shitty 10 by 10. We were just happy to be there. It was like 2016. Josh AI had a booth next to us. We had no idea who the fuck they were. Turns out, look how big those guys got. And we were in like the Innovation Alley, which is all like first timers, right? And there was a guy probably 2 or 3 booths down that had this speaker, and it just looked horrific. It looked like it was like born out of like the 80s with like the old box wood. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Like it was all wood on the outside, but it sounded phenomenal. And it's kind of like, that's the whole thing. I mean, you could have something that sounds amazing, but aesthetically it's not there for you. Or you could have something that's aesthetically amazing, but sound-wise it's not there. Yeah. So it's finding that middle ground, right? It's kind of finding that middle ground.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It is. And and if it's just for you, that's different. It doesn't matter. Hey, if it's a black box for you and it sounds great and that's all it's for, then who cares what anyone else thinks? It's like, hey, if you're having fun with it, but we're on YouTube, so obviously we're about showing and inviting,
of course,
so that automatically invites you got to appease more than yourself.
That's exactly
when it comes to that. Let's be honest. It's like otherwise everyone would just be listening on headphones. That's the cheapest way.
I completely agree.
That's the cheapest way to get perfect audio.
Yeah, and that's what we take. Honestly, that's what we take into a lot of our designs, because there are a lot of speaker manufacturers that make these amazing speakers, but they're like the size of a car. And it's like, you got to build shelves behind the screen. We're like, well, we want to get as much sound as we can into something a little more compact to where you're not rolling in like 40-inch subs and like, something, that's ginormous that, can kind of maybe not fully blend away, but kind of like, aren't so overpowering, I guess. And that's really what the Cinema series came out of, is that we wanted to give reference level performance, right? At a in a compact form factor, and I'll kind of give you guys the secret sauce behind the Cinema series and what really sets it apart, besides performance and form factor and and dB efficiency, is that a lot of times with horn systems, they have amazing output, cinematic presence, the whole nine, but they get fatiguing after a while. You're hitting the super high frequencies, and just after a while, it might sound tinny and so on. And you can probably deal with it for half hour, 45 minutes. But after a while, it starts like you can't put your finger on it, but it's like it starts getting a little fatiguing.
Roll mine off at 16K. Just for
exactly. So our designer, John, who obviously, so he, we build all our crossovers in-house. He was able to limit 90% of the first order reflections based upon his crossover work. So really what you're getting is the cinematic output of a horn with the ability and the articulation of a silk dome tweeter, which is why it's able to go from James Bond and Ballerina and, your favorite action movies to Kaleidoscape, Nora Jones, and Shallow, and being able to produce those sounds just so silky smooth. So it's kind of like doing like a double duty. And we actually noticed that at the New York Tech Summit, we actually brought the Cinema 6 is but in a soundbar format, and paired them with Cinema 8 sides with just one sub. And we played James Bond, and we played all the big clips. And then we played Shallow by Lady Gaga. And that's the first, actually it happened twice. That was the only time I've ever been at a tech summit and given a demo. And after that demo, everyone clapped. And they clapped after the Lady Gaga song. And I was like, well, what's going on? And then we figured out, because people were in disbelief, that they just heard this horn system doing these explosions and, major impact, and then being able to reproduce the subtleties of like a national artist with that silky smooth and richness.
Yeah.
And people were just floored. So that's really the secret sauce to why we love these speakers.
And looking at these on your website, the Cinema Pro is 96 dB efficiency.
That's
the
right.
Cinema 6 is 95,
right,
so
yeah.
it's only
That's
one
It's only
dB
one.
off.
My
And then
JBLs are that, or
And the
96 or
CB and
97.
the Cinema 8 is 96. So they're you're feeding them basically the same power.
I have a vanity question.
Right.
I have
Yes.
a vanity question. What's the most expensive system that you've done or install? Do you know?
Probably a retail of like 50.
Oh man, that's cheap. See, you guys
exactly.
see, that's what I'm. Dude, that's
So, I don't know
we've
if you
seen the
wanna-
photos, man. Those are pretty amazing.
I don't know if you want to disclose, your MSRPs or not, because you are.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I can give you basic ideas. So, for instance, we're doing. Anyone who goes to CEDIA is going to see this printed, because we wanted to show a room that wasn't like, oh my God, you have to be, a bazillionaire to buy the system. We wanted to show something that's realistic for a larger audience, right? Because you can always scale some of this stuff down, but like some of the rooms are like, $500,000 projectors, and just crazy shit that like then you go and read ABS Forum and they're like, yeah, it sounded great, but did it sound $1 million great? And then B, it's like, who the fuck can afford this?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
No,
so we wanted to show something that was, high end, but not like, oh my God, I have to go sell a kidney in order to buy it. So we've got 17 speakers going into the room, and they have an MSRP for the whole package of $50K. We sell amazing systems at like 15 and 20 grand.
Oh wow!
Nothing that we sell is going to be like, oh, it's $20,000 for the speaker. I think the most expensive speaker that we sell right now is a Cinema Pro, goes for about $5,500, and that's full MSRP. Our dealers, they're able to discount as they kind of see fit. So it just depends upon the project. But we're not talking like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a speaker here. That's not what we're about. Can we build those? If you have if you're a specific client, you go to your dealer like, I want you to make me, right, using these drivers the absolute best, and my budget's $20,000 a speaker. Yeah, we can make those. But honestly, we would rather make these so more people can put them in their hands. I mean, our IW55s are around like $1,100 a piece. Our Cinema 8s are around.
I can sell you this speaker for half that, and
that Cinema 8.
I'll spend the other 10 grand making it look so amazing. You will never want to change it. Right. Yeah.
That Cinema 8 is around $2,800 retail. Cinema 6 is around like $2,500, somewhere in that range. So it's not like, listen, it's not cheap, but it's not we're crazy, right?
We're in the high end echelon. Yeah, it's like, no, seriously, people are spending, are talking like, oh, if you spend less than 30 grand a speaker, you can't hear the difference. I'm like,
we're very big on the price performance ratio.
Measuring equipment did you buy to be able to measure the difference?
Right. We understand that $2,500, $3,000, even $5,000 on a speaker is a shit ton of money, right? For most people, we want you to get all that value out of it.
And everything that I've seen is amazing looking. and that's
So-
where a lot of people are willing to spend the money, right? And in that aesthetics, and you're providing that and the quality of the audio experience
Can you-
along with it. That's
Can you
pretty
talk
cool.
about the driver, the carbon wool drivers? I've not seen that combination before, carbon and wool together.
Yeah.
What in a driver usually it's carbon fiber or
That's
paper
right.
or can you talk a little bit about the driver?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is obviously a driver that we use. And again, it's a combination of exactly what you said. It's carbon and wool. We have drivers that are reed cones that have like, bits of reed, in there. I'm not super technical like our lead designer is. So I couldn't tell you what properties the carbon wool gives over just carbon. But I can tell you that these drivers are just amazing.
Just
Any driver that we use.
From a 30,000 foot view, like basically your fiber stuff is, that's like your bulletproof because they're glass fiber type of stuff, right? And wool is we know that as a natural, but wool is one of, if not the strongest, natural like fibers. Just obviously you know where it comes from.
Right.
Sheep wool. They're really strong textile, natural fibers that are really strong. The only reason we don't use that in like clothing that lasts forever is just because we're like all itchy. It's like
Right, exactly.
But otherwise we'd use that way more than. But as far as wool's a very strong fiber, and that's amazing that you're doing.
That's
that.
A really good point.
Carbon, it's a very, very, very strong coarse fiber.
And I can tell you that when we approach design, right, it's less about where we want to go and more about where's the driver the happiest, where's the tweeter the happiest, right? How do we get every ounce of performance out of what that driver wants to do and what that tweeter wants to do and what they want to do in concert together? So we're not trying to make it do things that it's not meant to do. We're trying to accentuate what it is meant to do and give it and I guess put it in the best possible situation to be able to do that.
Look at this. You're getting Don's looking for a dealer
Yeah.
next to his house.
Hey,
That's literally what you're gonna have to literally. And
I think the manufacturer, Don. I don't think you need to go to a dealer.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I want to,
I think you know the manufacturer on this one.
He's like over here scrolling.
If I want to hear them, like tomorrow.
If you want to hear them.
Oh man. Man,
I may have to play hooky from work tomorrow.
I'm setting my
I looked at the map, right? I'm like, Jesus, he's got tons of dealers. I was going to ask you, how do we get a hold of somebody? And I mean, look at the dots on the map, man. I mean, geez, you guys got it pretty much covered.
We are adding more and more dealers. I say we sign up, to be honest, like 2 dealers a week. And we just keep, and I think we're like 450, somewhere in that range. And we just keep signing up because people just hear about us and they're like, I'm in. Because we just offer something, a little bit different than, let's say, some of the other manufacturers. And that's what we pride ourselves on, where our customer service is. So interesting enough, whenever you call the NextLevel hotline, 99% of the time, you're going to get an owner. You're gonna get decision makers on the phone. It's not just gonna be like a customer service rep that probably doesn't know a lot about what's going on. You're gonna get either myself or you're gonna get my partner.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. It really does.
So you got a dealer out in your area.
Zoom in that. Where is that? That might be like I'm like, oh, I know that guy. Like, wait, what? I'll be cussing him out. Like, dude, bro, we drink.
Soon we're going to be launching a separate page that's going to start listing the demo theaters throughout the U.S. Nice. There's 4 that are going to go live in like a month or 5. And then as more dealers add demo theaters, we're going to add them to the list. This way, you'll know the dealer, you know exactly what system they have, and you can set up appointments. Our goal is to get at least 2 in every state. So it's obviously going to take a while. I don't think we have anything in Florida yet. But
maybe we do some negotiation.
Well, if you, maybe we do some negotiation. Maybe you end up being one of the demo theaters.
Man, I'm logging out quickly if you guys start talking.
Yeah. So basically, if they do want to get a hold of you, is it strictly dealers, or do you do any direct to consumer for anything at all?
Don't do any direct to consumer. It's 100% through our dealer base.
Yep. So call Don, and if you get enough calls,
but you can call us. I mean, you can call us and ask us questions. Be like, hey, I'm doing this. Listen, we get it all the time. Hey, I'm doing this project. Blah blah blah. This is what I'm looking to do. What speakers can you recommend? And then, oh yeah, okay. I need it installed. Who do you recommend? And then we can recommend somebody in your area to sell you the speakers and obviously install it. And it has to be somebody that we trust.
You don't see phone numbers on websites very much anymore. So kudos for doing that.
I know. Sure. I hate that. I'm searching. It's like, contact us now. And it's like, where's the phone number? Oh, you got to email us.
Yeah.
Contact us now, as in wait 3 days minimum.
For support to get back with
now?
you.
Yeah. It's horrible. No, we're all about the phone. And then a lot of times I'll give out my personal cell, and like dealers will text me like all throughout the day at night. And I'll be like, yeah, send me the plan. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, do this. So
awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I'm happy to see that, because even today I have another job, and one of my guys' fuel card wasn't working, and I try to call the number, and I got to go through 35 automated steps just to get the one person to try to get him
if you're really sure, right?
My fault.
It's just like you're hitting like 18 prompts, and then I love it. You get through all 18. You're finally there. And they're like, oh, you're in the wrong department. Or, yeah, let me transfer you. And then it goes click. And you're like, mother effer. I start this crap all over again.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
It's horrible. Customer service these days is such
one of the peons behind all of that.
The new generation loves this text and chat and an email and stuff. I just want to pick up the phone and talk to somebody.
I want to talk to somebody.
All right. So, hey, I do have one more question.
Yeah, shoot.
So we heard how you got into the business.
Yes.
But you started off with, I'm a DJ, blah, 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 blah. So you were already into audio. So how did you get into audio, as in your hobby, as in what made you become a DJ? Because obviously, I was like, I was a DJ. Okay,
so what made me become a DJ?
Audio.
Yeah.
You're well into audio if you're a DJ.
So, yeah. All right. So I'll give you. All right. So let's start that story. So as I mentioned, I went to Binghamton University. I had a bunch of friends that were in the Heritage DJ department for the local radio station, and I'm dating myself, but there was a very famous hip hop DJ called DJ Spinna, and he happened to be the director of the Heritage Department at Binghamton University. So he came out with the famous song "Bounce, Bounce, Bounce." Everybody bounce. It was a huge party anthem, like club hit back in like the 90s. Funkmaster Flex was playing it, like all the major clubs were playing it. It was a massive hit. So this guy was like royalty on like campus. So I tried to get into the Heritage Department, and they're like, yeah, we don't have any openings, but if you want to do classic rock, like you can do that. So I'm like, whatever, it's fine. So they had some Technique 1200s there, and, they didn't have like a setup to really, to scratch and do all that kind of stuff. It was just like blending and mixing. So I was doing like the Beatles and stuff like that. And then one day I turned to the guy and I'm like, listen, can I just play like anything I want for 20 minutes? They're like, sure. So I brought out Ice Cube. I'm like playing that kind of stuff. and I'm like, I can't do this. I cannot play the classic. I mean, listen, I love classic rock, but I love old school hip hop. I used to listen to Mr. Magic Rap Attack. I used to listen to 97.1 Hot 97 because I grew up in New Jersey. So tri-state area, I was listening to all that stuff. So interesting enough, my two suite mates were in the heritage department, and they were learning how to DJ directly from DJ Spinna. So over the summer, I ended up getting some Technique 1200 turntables and brought them back up to college the next semester. And I said, listen, guys, I'll let you guys use this equipment if you guys teach me. And they said, done. So they started teaching me, so then indirectly I'm learning from DJ Spinna because Spinna's teaching these guys are teaching me, and I'm just loving it. I mean, I sucked, but I just loved it. It was super cool. So then rather than going home for one of the summers, I said, you know what, let me stay up. And I actually got my first DJ gig at a local bar up there on Wednesdays during wing night. Okay. So that was my first gig. I don't know what the hell I was doing. Halfway through songs, I'm announcing, dollar pitchers and all you can eat wings at the bar and, stuff like that. It was crazy.
That's popular now. They talk through all the mixes now.
Man,
oh, yeah.
I might do that just as a hobby, just
exactly.
I'm bored. I'm just selling wings.
Yeah. So one of the bouncers there, this guy named Ray, came up to me. He's like, hey, I haven't seen you. I'm like, yeah, I'm starting here. I go to Binghamton. And, I'm just doing this wing night. And he's like, well, what's your DJ name? I'm like, huh? I'm like, my name's Rob. He's like, no, dude, you need a DJ name. I'm like, okay, well, what? He's like, what about DJ Technique? I'm like, all right, fuck it. Let's do DJ Technique. So he ended up saying, well, do you have a manager? I'm like, I'm fucking manager, dude. I'm doing wing night. I'm like, it's not glory here.
I want 5% of your $35.
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe I made $30 that night. It was that was back in the day. So he's like, yeah, I'll be your manager. I was like, all right, screw it. So that one wing night then turned into doing the same bar on Thursday nights, to then doing the same bar on Friday nights and Saturday nights where it was packed. And then it turned more into a club atmosphere. And then that turned into, oh, we heard you DJ at this place called The Rat. Hey, we're in this fraternity. Do you want to do a fraternity party? Sure. So then it went to fraternity parties. And then my name started going around. And then it went from that to other nightclub owners be like, oh, we know you DJ here. Would you want to DJ at our club? So then I started DJing this club and that club and this club. And then it just started going crazy. Because then, long story short, I DJ'd with Funkmaster Flex. I DJ'd with Lord Freak and Peter Guns. I DJ'd with Grand Puba. I did something for Alicia Keys' management company. Then it started getting nutso, right? I mean, it just started, I was doing these big things.
Wow.
And then, yeah. So then it just started getting crazy. And then I was also doing big raves with famous, rave artists and stuff like that. And then it just got to the point I'm like, dude, I can't do this full time. This is just going to kill me. Getting out at 3, 4 a.m. is going to kill me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then, that was the love of music. And then, like I said, I went to JSG, started seeing this, right? I can watch something 120 inches, which was crazy to me. And then it just morphed into that. Just my love of audio just kind of took over. And then it's like, oh, well, how do you make this work? And it's like, oh, you got to do, back then it was what was it? Composite video, or it was the yellow and the red and the, it was it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You guys remember that? Yeah.
So
it's
I was like, wait, what? Where
and you guys remember the S video cables with all the pins?
Yeah, the pins.
Yeah, the S videos.
I still to this day can never. I cannot look. Yep. There's the square or rectangle. Yep. Nope. No. Every time I'm like, God damn it!
I know. I know.
Oh man.
So that's just how it all started, and then I just got into, I guess, the technical aspects of it. It's like, well, how do you set these up, and what does it mean? How do you calibrate pictures and audio and all that? And then and then we synced up with John, and we're like, John, and then we all came together, and that's where NextLevel was born.
Very nice.
That's the story. That's cool. And
it literally started in my garage. And my partner and I at the time were like, well, we need to come up with a name. I'm like, I don't know. cool speakers, this speakers. Well, what are we trying to do? We're trying to do something different. We're trying to do something heightened. We're trying to do something next level. I'm trying to do something audio, acoustics, next level acoustics, how about next level acoustics? He's like, okay. So that was
Sounds
it.
good.
It was like,
awesome.
sounds good. And that was pretty much it.
Congratulations, man! That's a cool. I like that story. That's pretty cool. You could make a movie out of that DJ thing.
I know,
honestly.
right?
It's like,
I know.
I had like my friends and roommates traded. They were, and then next thing you
Yeah.
know, I'm like, DJing next to the person that I couldn't get in to be.
That's
trained
right.
by.
Exactly.
Like, oh,
Correct.
yeah, hey, what's up, man?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
That is crazy.
I had a friend of mine in high school. He used to do a bunch of Paul's mixes. You remember? You
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
the old Paul's
Mhm.
mix?
I do.
Yeah, man. He was good. He was good at doing the Paul's mix. So yeah, I grew up on all the old hip hop myself. So
Oh, yeah.
when you start mentioning Funkmaster Flex and all the other, we were talking about it today. I was talking about somebody said bird today, and I was like, yep, bird is the word. And they were like, oh yeah, you mean the old 70s song? I said, no, I mean Timberland.
Yeah. Timberland and Magoo.
Yeah, exactly.
Love to love. That was one of my favorite songs. That and Rum Shaker. I used to play that, and when you just go bump.
Yep,
Yeah.
I can never get Family Guy out of my head every time.
Yep, exactly. That's the reference they said. That came from
Family Guy is taking over my brain.
I said
Yeah.
no,
I'm
that's
just
not
like,
Family Guy.
It's not Family Guy.
They're still going.
Timberland
They're
and
still going.
Magoo.
Yep. Well, everyone, we've definitely sidetracked here, but
Yeah,
we
slightly.
definitely appreciate you hanging out with us today. If you would like to become a guest on the show and show off your theater just as Rob did today, please shoot us an email at hometheaterhublive@gmail.com. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification to help us spread our love of home theater to everyone in the country or world, whatever. But we would definitely appreciate if you would subscribe to the channels that we have here, Brews and Views, Easy HT Tech, and then Horizon Home Theater. Do you guys have a YouTube page? Rob, do you have a YouTube page?
Instagram, YouTube. We do. It's very small. We don't really do a lot of that.
Okay. So subscribe to Next Level's Instagram, Next Level Acoustics, and if you're interested in contacting them, go to their website, and they'll walk you through who to talk to in your area, or if you have a certain project that you're looking for technical support, maybe they'll reach out to you and help you with that. But Rob, definitely appreciate you being on the show tonight.
Oh, anytime.
You got the link, so you have a open invite whenever you want to join, whether it's to talk about movies or promote something. You got the link, so whenever you'd like to join, feel free to join.
Awesome.
So thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Until next week, we'll see you then. So Rob, just hang out for a minute.
Yep.
All right, you got it,
everyone. And I enjoyed it. It was amazing, and I love your whole concept and everything.